get intelligence from Professor Bakima, the Minister of Higher Education, say some illicit mining they go on Nimiama Chiefdom. So on Sunday, we go there, on we way back to Freetown, we go there, we meet Professor Bakima.
Yeah, Mr. Ma.
Yeah, Mr. Fo.
Minister.
Yeah, Mr. Fo.
Yeah, you're still a man.
Hello?
Yeah, you're still.
Me and George Taylor?
Yes.
If me in talk? Yes, me in talk, yes. Me in the talk every day. We need to.
The seller, why you know also cover the whole at commercial bank? If it was sold to about 800 people. Those are areas where I think say will not really come through. We think happen to the scholarship money we come in, wholesale. We think happen to the ticket sales we come in, and we will also understand say the plane we can go people in Saudi Arabia last year was a donation from Turkey.
I'm pleased to present to you the comprehensive report of the governance transition team for your kind consideration and action. We found that at the time of assuming office as president on the 4th of April 2018, Sierra Leone was in a state of near financial bankruptcy.
Form of an inquisition, or they already prejudge people them saying that this not happen, this not happen. So I think that one aspect no more I feel saying nothing wrong with the transition report, the methodology, the nuances, the utterances in presenting the report. You know, when you present a report like that, we will begin to threaten and say, all man will go jail.
Whether we are able to conduct a survey like this or not, we will have the following figures. Like for instance, at the pre-primary level, that is from 3 to 5 years, we'll be having about 673,410 students at pre-primary
across
level.
the country.
Across the country. So if we take the teacher pupil ratio as it is as at now, where 45:1 at primary and 20:1 at pre-primary, we'll be having 33,671 teachers.
Number one, the areas that we don't identify, we get the ecology for produce rice in this country. For example, Natomambo and the Bonapui region, where they get over 110,000 hectares ready for production.
Hello, my family, welcome to Sherix Broadcast Network, the place also would bring Sierra Leone live to whosoever you dare around the globe. Of course, if it don't take a couple of weeks, we're not able to bring any broadcast to Unana because we'll be trying for set up some systems now with studio, and of course also for engaging some projects back in Sierra Leone. And so now we are back, and of course we have officially resumed our broadcast. Of course, very soon we are going to simultaneously resume broadcasting on the radio as well as on television. Of course, we've been on the broadcast on radio since 2008. No, not 2013. and we are going to continue to do just that. We don't just stop small because we'll be focus on the television aspect, but for now going forward we are going to bring both to Una simultaneously and exclusively. Of course, if this is not your first time for join we want to take this opportunity for officially welcome you to Sherix Broadcast Network, and for assure you say you don't make the right decision for kind of the right place, the place whose side would they check the facts, the place whose side would they talk straight, and of course now so will not be in any ben. We all know say as Sierra Leoneans, since the election of the new government, we eager for no waiting the government be done they do. Plenty of we be done they follow on waiting the government they do on social media and other platforms them. It is now after 100 days since the new president and government of Sierra Leone under the Sierra Leone People's Party was elected by the people of the country. And so today what they do now, so we're going to do some fact checks. We're going to check into waiting when our government don't do for since when they elect them in April of this year. And so we're going to check everything. And so it get to be a good program today. It get to be long and it get to be nice. And so we just want to encourage you for make you continue for stick around as we continue for bring the programs to you. So stick around with us. Of course, make not forget me Ibrahim Sharif, na host every time they bring the program. So stick around with us as we continue for bring the programs to you. Stick around.
Me feel like say I'm not man enough. I no get nothing for offer. So all me party will look down on me. Where don't make me feel like say my life no go become something, yeah. And they walked away. All the people will promise for help me. They say come office today, it's tomorrow, next tomorrow. The story not just the same, but I refuse to give up. I kept on hoping, I kept believing. Now everything don't change. Me brother see me life now, it don't better now. Famous and the name now. You know go fit say you don't know me now. Anytime I like a flight to Dubai now. Hey, with me baby now. Anything I like I they buy now. Turn up, cause me I let it turn down. I let it run down. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. For this one where we there, people go come inside you life. Some go come for stay, and some go come and go. The easy why some man go stay. Now only God know. The easy why some man go. Now God himself know. Me brother, me I no go regret. If you decide for go, it's happened for a reason. Now only God know. What you get for no say. It's never the end, cause the downfall of a man no, not to the end of his life. I never give up, I know they turn down. Every day I they turn up. See me color, it pop up. Famous na the name now. You know go say, you don't know me now. Now me son is scatter the party now. Even you baby they calling now. Cause now me they make all man they study now. You who next on the beats now? The people just a Chris, just a dance now. Hey, they just a dance now, they just a glad now. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. Famous.
Yes, of course, me brothers and sisters, that now famous, a brother from Sierra Leone, of course, Brighter Future. That's the track title, Brighter Future. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, you always have to look ahead. You know, the downfall of a man is not the end of his life. And so let something not just happen with you one time. You know, there are always going to be cynics out there. There are going to be people out there who just don't like you. I mean, they have no reason to give for why they don't just like you. It's just probably the way you were created by God, your outlook on life, the way you smile, the way you talk, the way nothing bothers you. People just will hate you for that. And so you don't have to buy into their cynicism. You know, they will hate you for that. They will hate you for your looks. They will hate you for your smartness. And they will come up with all kinds of, you know, ways to bring you down. But when you fall, that's not the end of your life. That's the theme of the song that we've just listened to. So, you know, family, this is not famous. Of course, I get high respect for Famous. Famous now one of the musical artists in Sierra Leone. When you listen to any of his song, it gets meaning in them. You know, now this is what we talk about. You know, we own brothers and sisters from Sierra Leone where they sing music. You know, you go sing about love, you go sing about girlfriend, boyfriend, but put some message inside that music where you go uplift souls. We go make somebody learn a lesson from your songs, from your lyrics. You know, not just sing, you know, graphically, you know, you the battle your woman some kind of way very graphic, way the outside of the culture of the country. You know, not forgetting now we came from a country, and so we have to keep that culture. And so now make I like Famous bad, because Famous now demand this way any of his song where you listen to, it get message in them. You know, one of the songs say why I like bad now. How they call the music? One day we been sing where it talk say from Monday na this, from that na that. Now we don't camp. How do we call this song? But anyway, I would think, but I'll come up with it later on. I like that song, they bad, you know. And so we want to say a lot of thanks and appreciation to you, Famous, wherever you are, for the way they sing, the way they uplift Sierra Leoneans through your songs. I think very important. So, me family, today we get for go into quite a lot of waiting beyond the happen in Sierra Leone since we elect new president, retired Brigadier General Julius Madabio, and the government, the SLPP government. Since we don't elect them, it don't pass 100 days now. Waiting that we don't do. You know, this is not fact check. And of course, in democracy, they get what they call checks and balances. Now, that one they would do now, so today, fairly, for let us see waiting the SLPP government don't do for we inside 100 days since when they elect them. I think it's very important, very pertinent. And of course, we cannot go by without, you know, appreciating the evolution in technology. We make them possible for let we able for do these things that we do. All right, and so we're gonna start with the most famous one. We now all man they talk about not the country, and that now the government transition team report, the GTT report. Now from here I would begin first, you know, because plenty people in the way they don't understand how it is very important for let the government, we don't take over from one government, let the people of the country we elect the government, let it make them understand what they inherit in governance. Because if you don't make that one the public, tomorrow if small thing go wrong, that they blame you, say, oh well, before they went and they left, now so they be left and they don't can waste all. And apart from that, even fine for no the status quo. You know waiting you meet as a government. And even though they dwell on all the problems where the previous government create for the country, they dwell on that because your business is to come in and fix the problems. But at the same time, you want for the populace to know waiting you inherit for a record's sake. And this record way the SLPP government don't begin for create, so I think it's a very important. It is a precedent way they don't set. They don't reverse way back to 1961 where Samiti Magai them be take over from the British. How they be the rule, what thing they be the do. So we get for take a look at the GT report. And my family when I not forget say we be talk this before even in the election, that there is a big difference between the SLPP and the APC. So when people that be the guy for compare the two, make like the SLPP and the APC look like not the same, or then they do the same things, now they don't hold the country back. Waiting matter be they do inside this government. It don't prove them people then they wrong. For say SLPP now a whole different political party with a different political ideology, with a different approach to governance. APC completely different as well. So whenever then two political parties and then a power in Sierra Leone, we see how the country today. All right. So we're going to talk about the GTT report, and so one for me stick around.
Wednesday, July 4, governance transition team they pull their reports at all. And we tweet on there.
Part of what in the reports get for say tomorrow, and I think that way people are aware and they know. Because I mean, remember we get a government where we wreck this country. We get a government where there were many things that we didn't do way bad for this country.
When they left doing on our own, mother no miss nothing. Them they left with pastor finance.
Some of the egregious infractions around governments, around rampant corruption, the people expect action from this government. So be rest assured, when the report comes out, it's going to reflect the aspirations of the people.
Let the Lord take his cause. What the APC don't do so.
We all, in fact, we don't cry aloud behind this particular government they don't come, that we need for even know in the first place what's in the transition report they about.
Tomorrow, finally, they come out. And from waiting along there, foolish not there, yeah.
Your Excellency, now let me turn to the findings of the report. We found that at the time of assuming office as president on the 4th of April 2018, Sierra Leone was in a state of near financial bankruptcy and facing the worst economic crisis since independence in 1961. We have produced the evidence in this report to support this claim. Your Excellency, we found that at the time you assumed office, the international reputation and credibility of Sierra Leone was battered and at its lowest ebb because of the rampant corruption, gross mismanagement, and leadership failure of the former APC government, making Sierra Leone the most corrupt country in the world and one of the poorest. Also, Your Excellency, we found a shocking level of complete disregard and disrespect by the former APC government for law and order, democratic accountability, and constitutional order. We found, Your Excellency, that the leadership of the former APC government behaved as if they were above the law and appropriated the state and its natural resources as their own private property. They signed contracts with mining companies and approved by the APC-dominated parliaments in which mining companies were permitted not to pay any taxes to the country in return for bribes. We have documented, page by page, the scale and level of the egregious infractions by the leadership of the former APC government. Based on these findings, the governance transition team has put forward 10 key recommendations for your consideration and action. The two imperative recommendations are, Your Excellency. Firstly, that you consider to immediately direct the Audit Service Sierra Leone to undertake a special audit of all ministries, departments, and agencies to establish how public assets and funds have been utilized by the former APC government. Secondly, and most importantly, that you consider to immediately institute a judge-led commission of inquiry with a limited time frame and mandate to look into all stolen or inappropriately converted state funds and other assets by former APC officials. The primary objective must be to investigate, prosecute, and if found guilty of corruption, must be made to pay back to the state all corrupt funds and to face long prison sentences. Your Excellency, the governance transition team further recommends that all those named in this report for alleged corruption-related activities are to be treated as suspects and must not travel out of the jurisdiction of Sierra Leone without an approved travel certificate from the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Finally, Your Excellency, the governance transition team strongly advocates for accountability by public officers and recommend that all those investigated by the special audit and the judge-led commission of inquiry and if found guilty must face the full force of the law and there must be no sacred cows.
I've just received a copy of the report which has been long awaited. There has been a lot of impatience on the part of the people of this country to receive or have this report. But first, I want to thank the chairman and every other member of the committee for putting so much effort into producing this. Let me say this. This is just a report, a scooping exercise, a snapshot of what we met and what we inherited. As to what we have to do, we will consider the recommendations to have been made. But I want to say this clearly, that we have to draw the line on corruption in this country. We have to fight corruption, and it is a fight that we must win. And it is a fight that we must fight together in order to win. I know corruption is going to fight back, but we are on the better side of history. So I encourage all Sierra Leoneans to join me to fight corruption. This is just the beginning. As you might have learned, ending corruption or reducing corruption to the minimum is not just a governance issue. It's actually an existential issue because of the level and scale of corruption in this country. If we do not fight and win the fight against corruption, we are preparing this nation for another problem that will take us down. Corruption is at a level that can destroy this nation. I consider the level of corruption that we have met as a national security issue. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to have this report. Now we will find a way to chart the we will find the means to chart the way forward as to what we are going to do.
Right, of course, if I'm with that, now the transition report, of course, I like the, the straightforwardness of the transition team headed by the chairman, Professor David Francis, for being very straightforward, talking about their recommendations. And Ms. Alon Fambudem, it no matter at this point, whether or you fumble, whether or you friend, whether or the sacred cow where you get, but we get for stop for the pay lip service to the country. We have to. If we are all very serious about moving this country forward, the number one issue we have in our country, when I eat into the fabric of our country, is corruption. Corruption is almost like, they don't, allow and for let it be something that is authorized in the country. And now this, some APC people, they don't like when would they talk about this kind of things. Oh, well, you don't come, for talk about NTI. We get for bring on Dr. Samura Kamara in your own talk where you talk about this transition report. It's saying like the reports, but not the manner in which they present the reports. Which other manner? This is the manner in which they presented this report. Then people, I take them months for me to put effort into finding out waiting the previous government do and waiting then they inherit. And so at the end of the day, they have been able to put a report together. And in fact, as voluminous as this report is, then they tell we say everything we then find out not to insert the inside this report. Not just the key areas that we then put inside the report. If they say that they put everything inside the report, they not go do inside one book. And an office say any Sierra Leonean go be surprised by the report in findings them, because this not like an open secret. We all be know for say we country they go through corruption. We all be know that, and so it's just a matter of we get somebody in leadership where they take the bold initiative for able for do this kind of work where the GTT they don't do. We be need this in Sierra Leone. This is, in fact, this kind of work is far overdue. We be need this kind, effort here for may happen at the country. So let me go to the report properly. Actually, my family for let me go talk about in details, right? Let's go to this report. Now, Republic of Sierra Leone, Office of the President. Report of the Governance Transition Team 2018. Now, the executive summary of this report now look bad because now under it capture everything. It said this is the report of the Governance Transition Team as mandated by His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio when he announced its setting up of in a State House press release on 6 April 2018, 2 days after being sworn into office. An astonishing level of fiscal indiscipline and rampant corruption by the former APC government of President Ernest Bai Koroma had led to the near collapse of Sierra Leone's economy by the time the government of President Julius Maada Bio was sworn into office. The economy was left burdened with external debt amounting to $1.6 billion US, domestic debt amounting to 4.99 trillion leones or 658 million leones, million dollars, and an exploded payroll, salary and other compensation for government employees of 2 trillion or 263 million US dollars or 14.4% of the GDP. The national currency became moribund, trading at 7,600 or 7,600 leones to $1. In addition, the government owes vendors for goods and services an extremely large amount of $1.4 billion. The state's liabilities as at 30th March 2018 amounted to $3.7 billion US. Inflation as at March 2018 was 17.2. Overall, economic growth plummeted from 6% in 2016 to 3.7% in 2017. Consequent of the APC government's inability to close the fiscal gap and adhere to agreed actions under the extended credit facility, the IMF suspended disbursement of both budgetary and balance of payment support to Sierra Leone in 2017. Other budgetary support agencies, including the World Bank, European Union, and African Development Bank, withheld their budgetary support from the second half of 2017. All right, servicing these debts alone amount to $262 million per year. Against this huge financial burden, the domestic revenue for 2018 was projected to be a paltry $539 million. This is barely adequate to cover the government's recurrent expenditure, not to mention its commitment to poverty reduction programs and investing in social services. Despite its rhetoric about inclusive governance, the former government of President Nkrumah pursued a policy of tribalism and regionalism in its recruitment and promotion of personnel at State House, in government agencies and commissions, and in diplomatic postings. Ethnically favored appointments constituted roughly 71% of all senior and middle-level appointments and postings to the country's foreign mission made of former President Nkrumah's government. Ethnic favoritism was also reflected in the APC government's award of Government of Sierra Leone contracts, scholarships, commercial bank loans, and regional distribution of development projects, with the neglect of Kenema and Kono in terms of roads infrastructure being most glaring. The Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, was publicized and made ineffective, and was politicized and made ineffective, and the government routinely ignored the reports and recommendations of the Audit Service Sierra Leone. The government transition team has uncovered evidence of the former APC government facilitating the inappropriate acquisition of state assets and properties by relatives and close friends of former President Nkrumah. There is also evidence of inflated government contracts being inappropriately awarded to such relatives and friends. This unacceptable practice exacerbated poverty and illiteracy and helped erode confidence in the integrity of government. Right? So this is not just, part of the report. We'll get for count to the recommendations. But when you get a report like that, I like that executive summary way the GTT reports are put together. I mean, when you look at stuff like this, you begin to wonder as to why people that they tin up for position, when they say that they go campaign for men elect them, let them get position. Do they really know? Are they doing these things out of ignorance, or they are doing it with impunity? I think saying that with impunity, because this kind of way the APC, I mean, this is not just an investigation report, then get other, legal procedures, then we then get for go through for finally, really hold the one that we're responsible for many account for, then kind of see us all the talk about. But for now, let me just talk about the report. Let we assume for say, waiting this report don't put together and are true. Now, I'm glad plenty of the things that we this report don't talk about. Now, things that we in a Sherix Broadcast Network way before elections, we done they already talk about this. In fact, during the time where they compare the APC and SLPP from 1961 to 2017, we talk about most of these things. Then the time where they even talk about the APC 10 years of governance in Sierra Leone, we talk about these things. We not even go at the ground for go do investigation. Now, just based on what we know. Now, if the one that we don't go do investigation, by actually reviewing records, by asking questions, by going through, you know, the processes the way they don't put in place for as a government, and they're able to come out with almost the same things that we don't talk about. There are no say plenty other Sierra Leoneans in the way they said we don't talk about the same things that this report is talking about. So this is a clear verification and justification for, let we all agree, for say, if we want for let this country go before, two things now need for happen. Number one, either then dissolve the APC as a political party in Sierra Leone, or the APC then sign a memorandum of understanding with the people and government of Sierra Leone, stating that in the future, if they happen for win election, that then go continue for work upright, then go deviate from any practice of corruption, that then go be honest with the people of the country. Other than that, if we people then go again and elect APC in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, you are returning this country to another mayhem. Because from 1967, where APC, actually 1968, where APC took over governance in Sierra Leone, until this day what they talk to now, if you check their records, this report where the GTT don't come out with is not different from all other activities than where the APC be don't they engage in other country there. It is just, the truth is just that this is not the only time where this government don't becomes bold enough for take this kind of action, for investigate waiting they don't do. And so let me check waiting at some of the recommendations then where the GTT reports come up with, right? Let's check that as well and see where we are with that. Now for the recommendations, number one, immediately direct the Audit Service Sierra Leone to undertake special audits of all ministries, departments, and agencies, that are the MDAs, to establish how public assets and funds have been utilized by the former APC government as provided for in Section 119 of the 1991 Constitution, the Audit Service Act 2014, and Section 16 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016. Number two, immediately institute a judge-led special commission of inquiry with a limited time frame and mandate to recover all stolen or inappropriately converted state funds and other assets, including buildings, quarters, land, and the hundreds of vehicles still unaccounted for, presumably stolen by officials of the APC government. The commission should recommend for prosecution former APC officials whose corrupt conduct is found to be particularly egregious. The commission should also seek an explanation from former officials under Section 26 of the Anti-Corruption Act dealing with unexplained wealth, if it determines them to have accumulated such wealth during their time in public office. Number three, Audit Service Sierra Leone to carry out technical audits of the agencies relating to telecommunications, energy, and revenue, NRA, as well as NACIT, the Bank of Sierra Leone, and the two state-owned commercial banks, which have been embroiled in loan scandals over the past years. Review all middle-level and senior appointments made by the former APC government in key agencies and departments to determine whether those appointments were merited and followed proper procedure or were determined by tribalism and patronage. Review all contracts and financial transactions entered into by the former APC government in the 6 months before elections were held in March 2018. These should include the contract for Mamama Airport, several defense contracts, the sale of government quarters and other properties, and the purchase of vehicles for paramount chiefs. Freeze all payments to all local vendors above 400 million leones until special forensic audits of all the related contracts entered into by the former government and of money generating and related agencies and commissions, including of their financial statements and technical capacities, right? Set up an ethics office at State House that would serve as the internal control mechanism dealing with the code of conduct for ministers, deputy ministers, mechanism dealing with the code of conduct for ministers, heads of agencies, commissioners, heads of state parastatals, and board of directors, ethical improprieties, public service discrimination based on ethnicity and gender, complaints of sexual and other forms of harassment, and particularly conflict of interest involving senior level officials. Authorize the Law Reform Commission to review the mandate of the 28th National Commission with a view to reducing the number of commissions and consolidating their mandates. Right? All right. Now, we get up to how many recommendations? Let me just see. We have... okay, so we have up to 10 recommendations, but those are the key ones we want for talk about. So anybody they will go there against them kind of recommendations? I don't think so. I mean, when you look at the GTT report and look at the findings and look at the recommendations, you can find out, say, the one that we conduct this, we write this report or we do the investigations. This report is in the best interest of the country, Sierra Leone. I mean, this now something will all be the talk. Even when you look at Ernest Bai Kromah in cabinet, we've been there for 10 years. They were largely, the cabinet was largely being constituted of people that are from Northern Province. Ernest Bai Kromah was the most tribalistic president Sierra Leone has ever had. This man had taken this power out with vexation, let's say it vexed by the southeast of the country. It completely divided the country. Now, God no more they help we as people of the country. And probably because of the bitter experiences of war that we have been through as a country. Now, that's no more help we with this country not descend into another anarchy. But this man divide the country. He make one region of the country, look so important past the other regions there. So the people that will come up from the north, they look down on people that will come up from other parts of the country. So he is going to face the full penalty of the law, so that this will set a very good precedent that whenever you take power in another country, they just do things fitty-fatta, like say, na you na the Lord. Like say you important past God Almighty self. And this will be the senator as a warning to Ernest Bai Kromah and all in cronies. Will be the tell them this as warning. For say what you they do, would they observe una, would they check una. Right? So today the day don't come out for let the Sierra Leonean people and get their own justice. And we understand, say, the one that we get for camp for made them really set up this commission, not to Sierra Leoneans themselves. So you're not going to even go bribe them. Because the thing about where people that they talk is, oh, what you make, we're not going to make our own judges them as the commissioners then for sit down by this commission of inquiry. How can we do that? The APC from 1968 to 2018, they infiltrate the Justice Department, the judiciary. They politicize them. They mess her up. So even the judges, the way they did now, they're not credible. I mean, look at the way they pass judgment on Samuel Samsumana in Sakwan. You can find out, say, the entire populace of Sierra Leone will know, even the last person at the last village. There be no say Ernest Bai Kromah been wrong for doing what he do. But the Supreme Court go talks in Ainge right. So how can we trust judges of that, judges like those? So it just stand like what Yankababi take over 1996. He disband the army, he creates a new army, he bring a British policeman for training with police. I think say with judges they all need to get refresher course. They need training for me to understand how independent they should be. Or probably we need for change that clause inside the constitution where they talk say the president now they appoint judges, the president get right for sack them. We get for change that one day. Now the Supreme Court. Because like America, because then with constitution they mirror American constitution. In America, where the president don't appoint that chief justice. I mean the Supreme Court judge. They don't go through the houses. They don't pass them. na position that one they wouldn't get for life. Nobody know they pull them again. Even the president not go pull them come out, pass in, retire, or engage in misconduct. Because when you're there in a position like that, you're not supposed to be afraid of anybody, you know, trying to make you lose your job. Because once you sit down there, you're afraid for say, you know, unless somebody make you lose your job, you're not the judge on cases then fairly. You always the judge in favor of the person where na get right for fire you, na get for hire you. All right. So some of we stand with the GTT report. We don't get any problem with this report. We stand with this report. We feel say this report now one of the best things will happen for Sierra Leone, and we appreciate the efforts of the one that will be there on the GTT report. We appreciate their efforts for waiting they don't do. So far, we appreciate that. So, my family, when I stick around as we continue for bring the programs to you guys, stick around with us.
Famous to all the baby where them woke me at, where don't make me feel like say I'm not man enough, I no get nothing for offer. To all me party when look down on me, where don't make me feel like say my life no go become something, and they walked away. All the people who promise for help me, they say come office today, tomorrow next tomorrow. The story not just the same, but I refuse to give up. I kept on hoping, I kept believing. Now everything don't change. Me brother see me life now, it don't better now. Famous and the name now. You know go fit say you don't know me now. Anytime I like a flight to Dubai now. Hey, with me baby now. Anything I like I they buy now. Turn up, cause me I let it turn down, I let it run down. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. For this one where we there, people go come inside you life. Some go come for stay, and some go come and go. The reason why some man go stay, now only God know. The reason why some man go. Now God himself know. Me brother, me I don't go regret. If you decide for go, it's happened for a reason. Now only God know. What do you get for no say? It's never the end, cause the downfall of a man no, not to the end of in life. And then they give up, and then they turn down. Every day and they turn up. See me color, it pop up. Famous na the name now. You know go say, you don't know me now. Now me son is scatter the party now. Even you baby they calling now. Cause now me they make all man they daddy now. You next on the beats now. The people just they craze, just they dance now. Hey, they just they dance now. They just they glad now. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. Famous.
Right. Of course, family, Sherix Broadcast Network, we continue to come to you live from studio number 8, based in Houston, Texas. Of course, next we get for Brinkam Tona, no other person but the presidential candidate of the APC in the past election. Of course, Dr. Samura Kamara. Of course, as we know, as Dr. Samura Kamara, we don't get interviews na radio stations in Sierra Leone, FM 98.1, of course, AYV TV. We don't get interviews on this GTT report, and we just want for know waiting is a specifically because well, I don't know if they're in a denial or if they're in a position wherein to like the report or that, even if you agree with the report, but then some side where it go day, a level day where it go day where if you talk certain things, then the APC then I will gladly for them, and so again for talk the way he talk. So let me just listen to him small on waiting till they talk, right? Let's listen to that.
Between the new government and the outgoing government, so that you go all understand how you go start and how you for continue. It's a smooth transition. I mean, if you get a smooth transition, it's not in the form of an inquisition or they already prejudge people them saying that this not happen, this not happen. So I think that one aspect, number one, I feel saying nothing wrong with the transition report, the methodology, the nuances, the utterances in presenting the report. You present a report like that, we will begin to threaten and say, all man will go jail, we seize all man in passport, like I say, all man for run away. So you don't already prejudge people that say these are criminals. No, I said after in presentation of the report, now they tell you. The idea is good, but now the methodology and the presentation. Now, coming to the question we ask, yes, I get a right for count and clarify issues regarding the sale of shares, government shares in Sierra Leone. I think we mix up two aspects. Well, normally not three, really. The first one is that things happen in 2006, 2017 when our sale of shares within Ruta, then our Ruta their own problem now, and our corporate decisions, not a government interference business. And the second one is the sale of shares where we've been whole in Ruta in lieu of income tax, like a PAYE, Now, why that come about? In 2004, when we try for revive this economy, many of the companies that we don't close in this country. The only company we say one for continued operations after setting up in 1991, Sierra Leone. So under the chairmanship of Vice President Berewa, we agreed for an amended agreement. We call it the first amendment to Sierra Leone. That document is available. Now, in this document, we try to provide a lot of incentives. We go encourage the company for comeback, but more so, we go find a way of reviving the economy, protecting the jobs of people, because these were very difficult times during the war, So, if you get a copy, you will see a lot of facilities where they get retired. One of the requests where the company be make was that they say, okay, we'll find out that company we don't owe not to their own income tax, but they collect income tax from their workers, call them PAYE. But they don't pay that money there. They hold this money. Excuse me. So during the discussion, any company say, well, since we not get better money now for revive this company, we go allow we use this PAYE as what they call a recapitalization, for recapitalize the company. So in his wisdom, we all been sitting on there. Now we all agree. Say, okay, we'll go do them. It not been plenty, but this is not the period from May 2004 to April 2012. That's not the period. And so we agree in principle that during this period, up to the point who feel say the company don't do well, we like hold this PAYE, but really not better. But no one let the company use them as an excuse, say for close down again. So this was done. Now we say we're not sure until you don't go and pay way back. So what we go do, let the old shares now this company as well, as a guarantee. Okay. Now, inside this same agreement, we agreed the formula. As they owe this money, now so then they translate them into shares. Not that the full money been due. As every year, we not pay PYE to government, we translate into shares. So between this period, May 2004 to April 2012, the total come up to $10.5 million US. So at that time, now we feel say Ruta, okay, when I don't grow up, so they'll pay you back this money now, and we charge them 10% interest. So the amount of them pay now about $13.12 million in 2012. They pay that amount to government, to the budget. Of course, we said that in the budget been tight. We don't get money for the fair money for pay salaries and all the rest of it. So it came up. So this is not the part of it.
All right, and so from them, basically, that is Samura Kamara talking on the issues of how they award contracts to Sierra Leone, or how they go into agreement with Sierra Leone.
So it was a window.
Now, what we don't understand about waiting, let me see. Let me bring the talk. What me not understand about waiting Samura Kamara they talk is, as a government, once you're in position of authority, una the government, from the president coming down, you have control over the sovereignty of your country. Any decisions where you make, or any activities where they go on at your country, anything where they go on at your country, it get for go in line with, you get for do them in the best interest of your country, and you're not going to put somebody else, we're not a member of your country, in your interest above the interest of your country. And so basically, now that then we do, then put a Sierra Leone, the one that will be the operating company, then put the your interest above the interest of the country. Now, by then kind of negotiation, then kind of agreements, then we then go into like how Dr. Samura Kamara they explained. It don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me at all, because how you go say you get shares in the company, but then they not pay over so many years, and only one time they come in and pay. I mean, understandable, thinking about the fact that the cousin of the president, when I him be the head of Sierra Leone, all the talks that will be about the money that we, the money that we him be get personally from this deal. So the story not the add up, or probably Samura Kamara not been just a puppet wherein in the thing straight, but it get criminals there around them, even know. Now so me look at this report, right? That's how I look at this whole thing where they try for explain. But once again, the GTT report, now one of the best things will don't happen for Sierra Leone. Nobody should take that away from us. This is now one of the greatest things that has happened to Sierra Leone. Because until we engage ourselves in activities like this, until we show, we country and the international community for say we are ready to fight corruption in Sierra Leone, we country not go no side. Because Nayanda, just like how the president talk, that corruption in Sierra Leone don't reach a level where it don't become a national security issue. Now that one, even the 1991 civil war, where for the Sanko bring camp, it based some on corruption. Where it talk on March 23rd, 1991, I cannot forget, I was in Kenema Abidena Clark's quarters, where would they listen to BBC Focus on Africa, and they been talk with they ask him the reasons he gave for starting a civil war in Sierra Leone were issues about corruption, the APC corrupt practices. Now the same issues. So corruption in Sierra Leone is a national security issue. And so until we get a government where they stand up for do the kind of things that way Julius Madabio and government don't begin do, and the next government where they can be and instead follow for do the same things. I like where the GTT report they recommend the setting up of an ethics office of ethics na State House office where they specifically monitor ministers, deputy ministers, head of parastatals, head of agencies, where they monitor their activities then. So that at the end of the day, if you are found guilty of ethical violations, then get rid of you and then prosecute you. They're not for just fire you, then for prosecute you as well. So I feel say then can't see also a good for the country. So we all for be happy. Sierra Leoneans, we will mean well for Sierra Leone. We want for let good things happen in Sierra Leone. We should be happy with this report. We don't come out. We should be very happy. Now so me look at them. And so once more, my family will stick around as we continue for bring kind of programs into now. Next we get for look at the achievements of the SLPP government in 100 days since the election of this government. That's what we are going to look at next. All right, so stick around with us.
I'm not man enough. I no get nothing for offer. So only party when you down on me. Way don't make me feel like say my life no good become something. And they walked away. All the people who promise forget me. You take all my fees today. Tomorrow next tomorrow. The story not just the same. What I refuse to give. I kept on hoping. I kept believing. Now everything don't change. You wanna see me life now. You know me turn now. Where was standing there now? You know me say, you know me now. Anytime I like I fly to Dubai now. Hey, with me baby now. Anything I like I they buy now. Turn down, you see me I let it turn down. I let it run down. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving on. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. For this one where we live, people go come inside your life. Some go come for stay, and some go come and go. The reason why someone go stay, only God can know. The reason why someone go go, the God is off the road. You brother me, I don't go regret. If you decide for good, it's happened for a reason. Now only God to know what you get for no sense. It's never the end, 'cause the downfall of the man know, not to the end of the line. And then they give up, and then they turn down. Every day they turn down. See me fall out the pump up. When I'm standing it down, you know what's really going down. I'm misunderstand how the party now. Baby, they call it now. Cause I mean they make all my steady now. People next on the beats now. The people just take this just like dance now. Hey, they just say dance now. They just say that now. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing.
All right, of course, if I'm with once more that not famous, of course, a brother of ours, you not get for buy into people them, where they try for pull you down. You know, they say the fall of a man is not the end of his life. When you fall, that should be a strong reminder to you that you have to get up and keep moving on. So, because there's a brighter future ahead of you, right? So that's basically what that song is talking about, of course, from our brother Famous. And so me fumble them. I don't say plenty conversation. They go on comments, then they go on online from the one that we watch. We appreciate una for that, because this is not a national discussion. We get for continue for discuss them. The bold steps that with this government been take, the SLPP government, where the bold steps that it been take, when there be the campaign, there were some bold steps that would be take, and so then they now they will get for take a look at now. Sometimes they would have make them promises, then there's some people that be afraid for them, right? They be afraid for them because they feel say they're not going to achieve them. Now, Sierra Leoneans, we get for learn that we're not going to be afraid. Sometimes, if you not take a venture, you're not going to ever make a success. I remember during the time of the war in Sierra Leone, I be spend most of my time na Kenema. Even though I be the free town, but most of my time na Kenema I be the spend them. So at some point, I don't think Kenema, the rebels they don't cut all the roads them. No road not been there for come up line for Camp Freetown. So we were stuck in Kenema. They able to come out Kenema kind of bow, they're not able to come out bow kind of Kenema, they're not able to come out bow go Freetown. All side be don't cut. Anybody will make attempt for venture on them roads, then they die. So whilst within a Kenema, they have our food, they always be in a market. They don't sell all the food, then people they don't buy the food, that the food don't done at the market. No food not there anymore. So now people that they sleep with hunger. Some man this palm kernel, banga, night then they go break, then put some water, then pull salt panam, eating up for like a couple of hours. And then picking and night, then they eat, then drink water pana. That's dinner. We see all that one day in the country. So now then saying they will not be the relent. As young people them, we've been getting them, we all have checkpoints that we don't make for anybody where they pass now we area, we get for no than you where they pass, they pass and do waiting at you mission. So but when we can sit down at the checkpoints them, we can feel hungry. So one for we demand then at the area, we go fend way for it. So we don't clean, we not get money, we not know who side for get food for it. So one part with man will be very optimistic. It tell we say man them. He say we been getting some small but they are hungry. He say when I go wash that pots, when I put na fire. Not light fire under, just put the water inside the pot, you put on a fire, no more not light for fire under. He said because when that pot then at that fire day, we they get the zeal for go find something for go put it inside so that we will get food for it. And as we put that pot day in that fire, all man they begin look around. Would they go bring cassava? Would they bring this? Would they bring that? So at the end of the day, we get we meal, even though it not be enough, but we get something for it because of the kind positive optimism we will get for say if that pot day in that fire, we'll get food. So I bring that story there for able for juxtapose them with the SLPP where then the campaign Julius Madabio if they make promises. So maybe they talks about who say even the free education. Who said that man they pull money for free education? Right? Then even the other promise system. So after 100 days in office, waiting as some of the achievements of this government. That's what we are going to look at right now. So let's check the achievements. Let me see if I'll be able to bring that up. The achievements of this government, I think say that they're very, very important. All right. So let's check this. 100 days achievement, Republic of Sierra Leone government. Number one, launching of free education. Of course, we all know say the president don't launch that free education program. According to all the reports and what they get, that then they can print textbooks them, exercise books them, then they don't put in money for buy 50 buses we get for the care go picking in a school, then get for provide feeding school, picking and get for the eats in a school. So the Minister of Education get for can't talk about that. The Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Alpha Usman Timbo get for can't talk about that one day. So that's now one achievement. And of course, the entire treasury organ of the country, they don't make it into a single treasury account. Try to get all these different accounts, but now we only have one, so that they go able to properly manage the funds, the money in the country. One account. They don't also increase domestic revenue. The money the way the government they collect from within the country for able to take care of government business. Try the way the APC they say people they not agree for pay that money. The way we see that one, they done have been just an irresponsibility on the part of government for let you not go able for ask your citizens to pay within the old government taxes and other things. So the SLPP government don't increase that domestic revenue right now. And as we talk, there is 24/7 electricity in western area. The entire western area then gets electricity. Light they complete. Right? And they don't also sign an agreement for let them provide electricity now on the 194 chiefdoms now the country. So meaning that the entire country get forget electricity. They don't sign that agreement and they work on a right now. How about road construction? The president don't commission the Boma True Highway, the Moyamba Shenge Highway, and of course the Kenemazimi Highway. Then constructions, then they go on right about this time as we talk. Then of course the government are able to pay all public sector workers without any overdraft. Like how Tradeway APC already for pay workers, they pass then go to commercial bank, then take money, then it go into bank overdraft. Then they know they happen again because the government don't increase on the domestic revenue. They collect the money they will say is supposed to collect, and they use that money they for pay public sector workers without any bank overdraft. They don't pay all the backlogs of payment to paramount chiefs. The SLPP government has been able to do that within the 100 days. They don't also pay all backlog salaries to lecturers at the Jala University College, right? You remember that Jala University College, they always get this problem, you know, that problem they always come up wherein, you know, then they're not able to pay salary to the lecturers them, where the SLPP government don't handle that side now squarely, right? And which they don't do also, they don't pay the debt where the country be owed to WAEC. That now the West African Examination Council. The government has paid all the debt that we owe to them. Government don't pay. How about the Sierra Leonean diplomats abroad? Government don't pay at all. Nobody, government don't owe them no money anymore. And they don't also abolish university registration fees. Try to go picking it, go to university and get for buy that form day 500,000, 400,000 and get for spend money. So you will not get money for buy that form day, even if you're picking at the smartest picking at the country in order to go college. SLPP government don't squash that one day. No more registration fees. Government don't pay the college for that. So all man will qualify for go university, then they go university. All right. The government also pay 7.2 billion leones in compensation to the relocated Matome residents. The one that will be in a Matome, they don't tell them for them commodity because of some reason. And so government give them compensation, 7.2 billion leones. They not just tell them, say, when I come here, we not government, what will tell you for listening. But then give them compensation. The government also reinstate discipline in government and public sector. You know the discipline while they talk. You get for going to your job 8:30 in the morning and come out at 4:30 p.m. You will not in a government, I mean at your office, you know say the president can check at any time for see if you're in your office or not. We don't see the president don't check now then you building before. They don't left notes for certain people. So there is discipline in the workforce right now in the country. The president also signed a 44 million US dollars grant with the US government for agriculture. So we get for Kanye from the Minister of Agriculture, the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Sam King Brima, where he talk about waiting at the plans with the Agriculture Ministry don't set for let we able for produce we own food all to eat. Because any country we're not able to feed itself, a doom for fail. So we get for feed ourselves, right? So there is a plan in place for let Tomabom come back, let them revive them for produce rice and other places. And how about the setting up of a tropical disease research and treatment center by China? The Chinese government don't set up, they try for set that up in Sierra Leone. A tropical disease research and treatment center. I mean, can you imagine all that Ebola crisis will take place in our country? After all that entire crisis, with all the money we go on inside the country, you know, with all the money we can on at the country, we're not able for account for none. And by the time with the government, they announce Ebola don't do, we'll not get one green hospital or even a disease research center. We go able for detect a disease of that nature should it break out again. We don't get that one day, right? We don't have that. So what's happen next? We get a general cleaning day in Sierra Leone every last Saturday of every month. Is it every last Saturday or every first Saturday? I think it's every first Saturday of every month where they clean the entire country. So that is a good thing. You find out say all that dirty will be there around everything they clean up. Once we do it every month, then once it becomes a habit, people that wait to wait dirty then try then a gutter, then say go stop now because they now know say they are going to clean that same gutter on the last Saturday. How about government don't block all government leakages and wastage? All the Sausa money then they waste. Government they waste money, trade where they want whole meeting, pass them go to that very lucrative place. Then go to their hotel, ballrooms, then go to then expensive places, then pay money and all that. Government don't stop all of that. That's wastage. Like when the president they go to United Nations meeting, they get up to 50 people there inside the plane, they give them per diem. They at the same time the plane they charter them. We reach in New York. I mean, can you imagine when the president reached in New York, the plane they turn up na JFK for all the 5 days we get for day na New York. Then they pay the pilots them, and then they charge them for the number of days the plane get for day with them. Then they pay per diem to the one they then go with, right? All the one that the SLPP government don't stop them. When Madam you they go out of country, number one. The country where they go, they tell them, say, we not get plane. Do ya when I say when I plane, Medengan can me go. We don't see them plenty from Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Qatar, London. Now them plane that they use. And where they go now 8 man they inside delegation, not to 50 or 8. That's seven the necessary staff we're supposed to go with them. Like the press secretary, foreign affairs, then kind of people in there. So government don't stop that wastage. What thing government don't do as well, it don't add a 10% salary increase to public servants. Anybody who work in the public sector, 10% increase on their salaries. Then they can buy 50 buses there for the cargo school picking in a school. Right? And the student loan, they don't create a student loan scheme for students in a tertiary institutions. So if you didn't have like a Frabe College, Jala University College, IPAM, and the other university them, now you get some side you go trust money and pay for your school tuition and go to school. Wow. This president has been able to do that within 100 days. This not to inside 1 year too. Now 100 days no more force. So can you imagine when you do anything where you do it come up from your heart. You do them from the goodness of your heart. You know they just do them, it really come up from your heart. It's not difficult for let people then go able for detect for say you do them with the goodness of your heart that you really mean them. And it's not going to be difficult for you to achieve doing it. Right? And how about this? This is the one that I love, right? the government, they embark on the construction of a University of Science and Technology and the Center for Cardiology and Oncology in Kono and Freetown respectively. You remember 2012 we Ernest by Kroma the campaign at Kono Itel and saying they bring the University of the East na Kono. Well, you know do where SLPP don't count, they don't place premium on education. So they are going to construct University of Science and Technology inside Kono. And we are also going to have a Center for Cardiology and Oncology. Now, after the Ebola crisis, suddenly now the president saying they go to Germany for medical checkup. The man not ashamed say what the students here. If you go then can go then they make go safu no more and come back safu. But you're supposed for getting amenities and the facilities there in your own country. You don't need for go any other side. If they country the way they go now work hard for me to get anything. Why don't you do the same? So the SLPP government, the letter way they see on the left hand side, and the letter way the Minister of Finance write for able for secure money for the construction of this university and the Cardiology and Oncology Center. All right. So the Cardiology and Oncology Center is going to be in Freetown, and the University of Science and Technology is going to be in Kono. As early as yesterday, we don't see people then they try for even clear the site outside this university get for day, and they can clear day. This is not good news when they come in, right? This is good news. And what is happening next? Next, the Anti-Corruption Commission don't send strong warning to them teacher or school authorities and where they ask school picking them for money before they go give them a report card them. You know? And they ask them for money. So me myself, this kind of thing happened to me own picking. You know, now the whole of Freetown, me picking can taught where is it NPSC. The National Primary Certificate, National Primary School Examination. Like what we call selective entrance examination. Where you see the exam, it pass. When it go to secondary school, because I not be the same money all the time, the teachers then refuse for getting report card. Then secondly, then they even when it pass by the exam, then they get in position where they far behind. So they they become happy. So one day I get for go off on the teacher, the principal, the teacher, I go off on them very seriously. So this thing has been going on in the country. But now the Anti-Corruption Commission don't want them. You will they ask Peking na school for like give you money before you go get a report card. Or when they take away points them from them because they not give you money, the Anti-Corruption Commission get for go after you big time. Now that's the go on. And get for go after you big time. So these are good things the way the government don't institute in place. I feel say this is not a very, very important things the way they go on. Of course, very happy that Julius Madabio they keep to him promises them. Most of the things that we've been talking say go do. They actually, keep to them promises then they. I feel say that one they very, very important. Right? Very, very important. And so we get for, really appreciate what the SLPP government they do at this point. I think say very good things. Inside 100 days they don't do plenty things them. Plenty things them. Matter of fact, let we check, because I think say the government itself from State House, they don't issue a report in that regard. So let us see if we can come across that report right now. This is still the transition report. All right, so we get the first 100 days achievement of President Julius Madabio's government, prepared by the Office of the Press Secretary. Of course, this na Keketoma Jususandi na do this, it don't write the forward there. But here are the achievements. The achievements are the abuse and misuse of duty and tax waivers in recent years resulted in a significant loss in domestic revenue amounting to 1.2. But anyway, they don't stop that one day, like how we don't talk. Then the government don't also collect money upon assumption of office. The government don't bring discipline again. But anyway, these are the reports. I think most of them get them on social media. But when I look at the achievements of government, we a small number we don't show now, but the government don't list 42 different achievements, 42 inside 100 days. So let's say now if we go 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, I think say SLPP get for stay in power forever and ever and ever. Now that's what I see happening, right? That's what I see happening here. The SLPP, they do very well, but are we surprised? Because you see, this is the modus operandi of the SLPP. Anytime when they're in power, they do this kind of things. They always do things them where they uplift the country. I mean, in 1961 when they take over, first before they take over, SLPP was heading the writing of the first constitution of the country under independence. Of course, SLPP formed the first government, in the country. And then the way SLPP been in power, just go back and visit history, how things then been in the country. Food been they warp in the country, education be quality education. Sierra Leone be the Athens of West Africa. Of course, train been in the country where they come up from Penembu, take kind of free town, bring produce, bring things them. They will get teacher training institutions all over the country. Food been in the country where they eat stay, will not be done with the export them. The hospitals they be good. Electricity been there, pump water been there, then right? Then come on a power 1967. They not come back in power again until 1996. So 1996 we then take power. What then do? They meet war. That war don't drag on for 11 years. Not to then come now. SLPP can finish the war. Establish government institutions. Them, bring relative peace, put the economy back online, train the police, train the army, and make all man feel steady again. SLPP now do that one day. Now the APC come back inside. What they don't do. SLPP don't take over again. See what they do. So SLPP is on record. It could be a disservice to anybody or to the SLPP for let anybody go be ungrateful to this party here. Because going by history and going by what this party don't do, it is commendable for let we commend them for what they always do when they're in power. And the reason why this they happen is because the party itself was formed on the basis of democracy. There is absolute democracy inside the SLPP. Now I make Julius Madam Yosef we route they go to the party office. Like then they say I don't go to the party office. Because you cannot forget about your party, not forget say now them come together and elect you. So if they're ready, then they pull you come on back. Now just a matter of time. So whosoever democracy there is good representation because it is the voice of the people where they elect the leadership. And the leadership they go through checks and balances. When you're in that position, the people that they watch you. Any mistake where you do, then they go after you. So Mada knows that very well. But that one they not inside the APC. APC, the person who the president, I get the overall saying. Anything we talk on F court. Dr. Samura Kamara said don't justify that one day on plenty interview the way don't get. For say he was appointed by Anes by Kroma single-handedly. Now I appoint him. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Right? But anyway, moving forward with family, we get for continue moving on. So one for may you continue for stick around as we continue for bring the programs to you. Stick around with us.
police, we say we no get arara. This system don't pass max alone, who tell we go wise up? Covering all the Nyam self no the we get all kinds mandate, but we think like a kundo. What the country depend on us, but we say we no get arara. Make we put politics one side, politics go where we country. Education, a foundation for a great nation. Because where you know, not just like where you no get to know. Salon Baba, Salon Titi, Salon man and woman, we all for land. Say we not go good, and we country small, so we get the tree, but we no get sense. So, hey, it's all in you. Papa God, you see you. For all you blessing me, believe say with you. Money no dey, in for itself no dey. We get all the meaning, still we no get to know. But we country dey survive for us, we say we no get arara. This system don't pass max alone, who tell we go wise up? Covering all the Nyam self no dey. We get all kinds sense mandate, but in the king like a kundo. Depend on us, but we say we no get arara. Make we put politics one side, politics one side. Come on, let me wake up. Hey, hey, Sierra Leone, we got no money no day, oh, work no day, oh. So all day we beg, oh, nothing no day, oh. No do my plan, yeah, man, I come to mutas the leader, come on, swing a minute long for my come shoot out of it, so like it's a slum, call them a stem of water, what if of sight along the whole song, and I bear the letting of a circle, got a chip, but he been where I see you Sabaco go back when they must tell the dagger to a chip, no, Salas, I Sabano Carlos, woman, and I'm up circle, come out the net, they will get you, I didn't skull, was a name, who beat on each other, circle, put a neck, woman, Sunage, when I take a bag of this, put on Chehala, was a chem de Maga, Papuno, Casu de Ugo, Sucanabaga, just chip no man up with Sabano, Tabam, Peta Suninang, it's a small way. Money no day, in for itself no day. We get all the meaning, still we no get to know. But the country survive for us, we say we no get arara. This system don't pass max alone, who tell we go wise up? Covering all the Nyam self no day. We get all kinds sense mandate, but in the king like a kundo. But the country depend on us, but we say we no get arara. Make we put politics one side, politics go where we country, gata.
We try to do better. Forget about the politics and power. Make we come together and work as one, so Mama Salon go prosper. Somebody's in a position that we put aside. God, not them thing they can make with it. Now we change we attitude and we way. Now that not the thing when the papa we say. Red or green, orange, black or blue. One young still any night telling you. They wonder we keep it Salon money here on away. Forget say no other man land they make. Take all thing go over. Forget say the masses they suffer. All empty and no proper. Then they eat all thing they left free with.
Money no day, in for itself no day. We get all the meaning, still we no get to know. But the country they survive for us, we say we no get arara. This system don't pass max alone, who tell we go wise up? Covering all the Nyam self no day. We get all kinds sense mandate, but in the king like a kundo. But the country depend on us, but we say we no get arara. Make we put politics one side, politics go where we country, gata.
Yes, money no day, arara, nothing no day. Of course, then they see the president go na the party office, SLPP headquarters na Freetown, and we're not going able to bring the video cam to now. But when we listen to the audio, waiting it tell the people that is that let the people then just bear. It say because before it's sweet, it get for sour for small. So now that sourness now they go on. So like what would they see way with musical artists and they say for saying that you know they work not the money not the everything arara una beer things will be better. But everything what they see right now only two things the way Sierra Leoneans then for the pray God for. You know, long life and well body. They two things they're very important nowadays. Now you for pray God for. Because once you get into them day, it is very, very possible for say you go see all the goodness of your country. Sierra Leone, a small country, will get everything. I mean, can you imagine? Will be the doubt for say no government, and no matter whether they in government, nobody not go able for make their achievements them what the SLPP don't do inside 100 days. 42 different achievements, and all the money that they spend. The increase in domestic revenue, right? All the money that they spend, all the money that the revenue what they gather, they kind systematic arrangement them. Now I make for go school if I know. You see, I'm glad the way mother don't put premium on education, because SLPP then get highly qualified people. In fact, SLPP in human resource then overqualified. Then Bokute. The doctor there, the masters there, then Bokute, then Boku. So anyone we sit on a power, it do well. Because we get all the systems where they put in place where you go make you do the work the right way. Right? So definitely long life and well body now for pray God for, because things are going to be okay. Things are going to be all right. Okay? So, you know, I'm for Poel, you had for that. But anyway, the other thing will happen now, for many able for control money business, good one at the country. You know, say the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, now the government get a bank there. And the kind of money where they don't they pay the workers there, especially those in higher positions. Now that bank there is so exorbitant that even when they go on leave, the money when they pay them while they on that leave day is so exorbitant that it don't make any sense. So if we all the talk say we want for let the country go before, we want for let the country better, if we start from there, if we start from which says for begin to make sacrifice. So the Ministry of Finance, the Secretary General of the Secretary of Finance and the Minister of Finance, they made a proposal that they are going to cut down on the leave expenses what they do on the staff of the bank, the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank. So they're not like that, right? Let us see what it then display after that. Okay, and so that's now the workers then the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank right there at the headquarters na Shaka Stephen Street. You know, that is what I don't understand. We not agree. Like, how you not go agree? If government say that and get for do, what can you do? And especially if then they make them decisions there in the best interest of the country. Not to una sign no more, they don't cut this more, and this not to your salary. This now the leave allowance where you supposed to forget where you they on leave. Now then they reduce. So why are you upset? What is your own contribution to the development of the country? Who say you feel say money they come out from and pay you all this money here? So you see, patriotism not just come from leadership, from them when they all don't vote into position. It comes from us as well. Like how late Dr. Madasi earlier talk, when I be the doctor, you know, before they die of Ebola, he say, whenever you find yourself in any corner na Sierra Leone, waiting, ask yourself that moral question. Waiting you they do na that corner they for uplift that corner. Waiting you they do. What are you doing in that corner to uplift that corner? Right? These are the questions we should be asking ourselves. Like una na commercial bank, waiting on your own contribution. How are you brightening that corner where you find yourself? What is your own contribution to the development of the country? Do you understand? You didn't have the financial world. You should be the first person to understand the financial predicament where the country they're in, the difficulties where the country they go through as far as money is concerned. So why are you paying blind eyes to these things? Why would I not understand? Right? So these are some of the questions that we come to mind. But anyway, so now that they do, they say they not agree, they're not for cut down the money, and so waiting that nonsense. Then they send the video all over the world. Well, we don't receive the video, but the video make una look ridiculous. So the objective we been get for take that video there and send and spread it all over the world, as achieve that objective, because we they look at it differently. Hey, Salon. But you know, all the parts of the education. So this one I then call continuing education. You know, you will get the degree, you'll get this, that, but certain things, and then you still continue for learn, for let you understand how these things work. Right? So let's see once more. All right, so that now commercial bank workers, and so me fun with them. Next, we want to talk about you know, another development. Of course, you know, we want to see that even some of we where they abroad, where you didn't have any job, you did go through what you call in-service training. You know, you did go through what you call employment training. Any job you say you get for the get training, so that you know you go be efficient and effective now your job, right? So I applaud the SLPP government also for doing that, for not just sending individual ministers or individual leaders in the country for me and go for trainings, but that it actually bring all the ministers then together and their deputies together for me people that way don't help other countries them. More than 50 countries where they don't help them for able for develop them countries them, for me then talk to them, me then train them up in a whole one body. I like that, because that is a very necessary training where the ministers and their deputies are supposed to have in the country. Very important. So let us see that ministerial retreat. That was 90 days, you know, after where they don't elect them, right? Let's see that.
This retreat, in my view, provides a unique opportunity to set priorities on how to focus on delivering on our new direction priorities.
In less than 3 months, we have formed the full cabinet, and also they are meeting for the very first time for them to understand and know the issues and what's the vision of the president and for how they will be able to deliver that.
Effective management of the state requires effective management of the resources itself. And to effectively manage the resources themselves, they must be able to work as a team. It's a teamwork.
It's a very important moment for the government. They can build the team they can identify and clarify their priorities, and they can begin to think about how to implement them so they make change for ordinary people across Sierra Leone. The expertise I bring is that I've worked in 50 or 60 different countries on helping governments deliver reform, education reform, other reforms, and there are some lessons of how you succeed and how you can do a better job for the people.
We are able to discuss within session and even after session, our tea breaks at lunch, we are able to relate to one another of how we could improve and work on the achievables within the new direction.
We want to make sure that we focus on the priorities that we can deliver for the people of Sierra Leone. That is what this retreat is about, is to build a high-performing team with a team spirit that can deliver and deliver on results, simply.
This is a new direction. We've set a high standard for ourselves. We should afford to live within that. Be professional. Deliver. We don't accept excuses. If you have a week to deliver, make sure within that week you do what you have to do to deliver. I will work as much as I can to provide the disciplined leadership necessary. And I want you to do the same. So ladies and gentlemen, I want us to feel free with one another. Walk seamlessly. Let's go down in history as the group of Sierra Leoneans who saved Sierra Leone.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let us go down history as a group of Sierra Leoneans who saved Sierra Leone. Wow, I love that. You see, I like them kind of the way somebody they talk like that. And I look inside the crowd, I see all the highly educated guys that they watch Mother Beauty talk to them. And say, this guy I don't see they're going to talk, say, oh, this guy I don't match up quick one. Or inside this 100 days, my man don't match up quick the way they talk self. Oh yes, me family, this is good, right? I mean, this is all what some of us wanted. Not to foresee pass you get for the imposition before you get for do well for your country. No, you don't have to be. The mere fact that right now, if I grab for going to salon, I feel so comfortable. I'm proud of my country, you know. I feel so good. The mere fact that we get government in place, we know what they do. We care about the people, care about the country. We're selfless, right? So this is all what some of us were fighting for. So not to all man we be the try for, you know, campaign in the past election we that position we want. If we want position, trust me, we dey get them. Because we not to then Sierra Leoneans then way they go past the airport, do you give me job, do you? No. We don't do that. What we do, we create an atmosphere for you to know how valuable we are. So now you get for call, we say, you know, we want for me, you can work with you, do ya? So we are happy for this government within place. Not necessarily because na SLPP. Any other government we for the power where they do them kind of here. Like we honest by Kroma been kind 2007, we say they run the country as a business. But you see, now irony now even give that 10 a day. Because the man talks say they run the country as a business. So we take like say now business in the interest of the country. But he actually ran the country as a business in his own interest. Hey. Anyway, so that is the president putting together all the ministers and deputy ministers in a retreat. He bring people in from abroad. That way, man, we talking under so now he help the government for organize this meeting. For many, you know, able for train with ministers and deputy ministers, and for many understand waiting they need for do for able for moves rallying forward. And trust me, by everything where they go on, you get for find out say Sierra Leone get for be another Rwanda. Let we just give some time. It will happen. It's gonna definitely happen. Because when them people that we can train them, they don't help up to other 50 countries where they be there in a mess. They don't help them for come out of that mess. They don't help them for advance, for develop. Today they are developing. One of them countries is Singapore. Singapore now one of the greatest, fastly, emerging economies in the world. One of the developing countries now. We don't reach near that developed countries now. And then people that we train, then ministers, and then train them for many advance the country that way. So if they listen to that training, if they work according to within the land, that teamwork, where the Minister of Finance, where they talk about Jacob Jusuf Zafar, where they talk about that teamwork, very important. Very important. So we appreciate the SLPP government for what they do so far, right? And so, say the president, government a big thing. Not to one man they run them. Pass if we get dictator now, one great go to talk say now in the control man, but government big. So from where the president they don't elect 100 days don't pass, it is still appoint people into positions. And one of the things the way people are not keen understand is that people in deep and complain, oh madam you don't come, it don't pull all man at the job, it don't put SLPP in a job. This kind of thing they happen all over the world. Not to only Sierra Leone, this thing they happen all over the world. Any government we can have power, they bring in young people then together for make them work, then when they think alike, make them work together for able to advance the country go before. We honest by Chromacam, that's also not as they be in government. SLPP members them, they're not complaining, they all be sitting quiet for 10 years. Now one thing I want about SLPP members, they're very resilient. SLPP members, there was something they monitor, they know self. Even when they be in a parliament, they know talk. So why people then go continue now for complain about the fact that SLPP don't they put young people in a position, and these are qualified people, and these people are not just Southeasterners, they are Northerners, Westerners inside this government. So I don't know what the people are complaining about. But anyway, we're not listen to that complaint because it don't make no sense. We're not listen to that. We work according to waiting we feel say na in the correct thing for the country. That's what we are doing. We're not listen to nobody. Alright? We're not listen to nobody. And one for me, say some of we get direct access. And inside this government, we want to talk. We'll go able for call, we'll get all the speed dial. We're able to die and talk from the president coming down. So we know it's going to happen. But anyway, so inside an appointment in the past week, the president don't feature some members of SLPP in North America. North America region of the SLPP is the 5th region of the party. Plenty of people then they will don't work now North America very hard for the SLPP. If you don't choose some, they don't choose plenty back. And so we get for start by bringing to you His Excellency Honorable Sidiki Y, we na in the newly appointed Sierra Leone's ambassador to the United States. He is the one that the president will appoint into that position. Of course, just 1 second. I'm trying to fix something here. Mr. Sidiki Y, ladies and gentlemen, now senior man, like one of the senior man them who gets inside among Sierra Leoneans, very senior man. This man so a man we don't turn up for positions in New York. People that inside American government. He's a Democrat by the way, but a man we get influenced bad inside United States. He don't turn at this country. So he get interest, but I mean he gets how they call them, it gets influence now the country bad. So somebody like this, you need them for let it be that the position outside the president not put on right now as the new ambassador to the United States, Honorable Sidiki White. Now New York based more, of course. When I sabi Mamba TV, well, Mustafa White within a Mamba TV, na in big brother this. You know, so very highly educated man, very intelligent, very patriotic man. This is the man who is going to be representing Sierra Leone in the United States. All right, and so North America is being featured in this arrangement as well. And of course, some other appointments that we'll get now. We get Mr. Solomon Gembe Sr., originally in Dallas. He will work as a mortgage manager for West Fargo Bank. He is now the High Commissioner, the Sierra Leone High Commissioner to Nigeria. He's going to be based in Abuja. And of course, we get our own sister, Anna Musa. Of course, Anna Musa, now Boston, now they base. She is one of the foundation members for the Julius Maada Bio campaign. She is going to be the Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria. She is going to be deputizing the man on the left. Of course, Solomon Gembe, they are together for dinner Abuja. Of course, again, Mimani and when Mr. Safawe Rogers, former Secretary General of the SLPP in North America. He is going to be Deputy Ambassador to China. Now, man, now China, and they study, and they do everything, bachelors and masters. It is speak Chinese like I speak in many language. So, China man, Andy. So, the man will go for the go see, you know, the man will go for the go see. So, but those three are strong SLPP members, and they are going to be, you know, serving in those capacities. Solomon Gembe Sr., High Commissioner to Nigeria. Of course, Anna Musa, Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria. And of course, Mr. Safawe Rogers, Deputy Ambassador to China. Then we also get with your man, Kathos Jibao Matai. He is the Sierra Leone's new ambassador to South Korea. He is going to Seoul, South Korea. That's where he's going to be serving as ambassador. He is another die-hard Julius Maada Bio supporter. Of course, that is very, very interesting. These are the guys who are going to make things happen for the country. You know, they are going to definitely make things happen for the country. They are going to be representing Sierra Leone, now then nations. Then this now Kathos Jibao Matai. He was formerly based in New Jersey. Now he's going to be based in Seoul. Of course, for Safa Rogers, I will not talk about him. He was based in Dallas, of course, Maryland first, but then later he came based in Dallas. Now Dallas, they right now, where presently they're in Sierra Leone actually, but he's going to be based in Dallas. I mean, he's been based in Dallas. Now they're in Family Day, but he's going to be going to China. Now they get for go work, right? But the big one among them all is Honorable Sidiki White. That's the new Sierra Leonean ambassador to the United States. He's going to be representing us in the U.S. or representing the Sierra Leonean government in the U.S. That's exactly what's going to be happening. All right? And so, my family, I feel say these are good things will not happen and that we are supposed to be talking about. So stick around with us.
Money no day, thing for itself no day. We get the survival, so we say we no get harder. This system don't pass max alone, who say we go wiser? Covering all the day, nyam self no day. We get all kinds of mandate, but we think like a condo. What the country depend on us, but we say we no get harder. Make we put politics one side, politics go where we country. Education, a foundation for a great nation. Because where you know, not just like where you no get to know. Salon Baba, Salon Titi, Salon man and woman, we all for land. Say we not go good, and we country small, so we get the tree, but we no get sense. So, hey, it's all in you. Papa God, you see you. For all you blessing me, believe say we still money no dey, in for itself no dey. We can't talk a minute, still we no get to know. But we country this survive for us, we say we no get harder. This system don't pass max alone, who say we go wiser? Covering all the day, nyam self no dey. We get all kinds of mandate, but we think like a condo. But we say we not get harder. Make we put politics one side, politics one side. We wake up, come on, yeah, we wake up. Hey, hey, Sierra Leone, we wake up. Money no dey, work no dey, so all say we beg, nothing no dey. Okay, no do my plan, yeah, mama kolong, mutas the leader, come on, sunga mine lompo, makom suka to pangit sa nakita mas long, kote mas tama wata wati pop sa ito long, mo posok na nabaya gulening na pagsakung, kakachip batibe mo ay sa siya kadalang, sa bako ko be kwen be masal kadalang ta sa chip nwe, sala sa isaba mo kalus mo mo na mabsakal kubot gane, de wone ka chila dimbin skal ko sa ne, humbito mi chef sakal ko tane, ko magsunange wala kege begane, sumoto che halala ho sa kem de maga, pakuno ka su de ugo suka na baga, tas chim no man la pa mi sabang mo tabang pa ita suni nange hewo sama semua. Money no dey, in for itself no dey. We can't talk a minute, still we no get to know. But we country this survive for us, we say we no get harder. This system don't pass max alone, who say we go wiser? Covering all the day, nyam self no dey. We get all kinds of mandate, but we think like a condo. But we country depend on us, but we say we no get harder. Make we put politics one side, politics go where we country, gata gata.
Some we try for do better, forget about the politics and power. Make we come together and work as one, so mama salon go prosper. Trapalism and nepotism that we put aside, God not them thing they can make we differ. Now we change we attitude and we way, now that not the thing when the papa be say. Red or green, orange, black or blue, one pion still any night telling you. They wonder we keep Solomon here on away, forget say the other man land they make. Take all thing go over, forget say the masses they suffer. All them tea and no copper, then they eat all thing they left free with.
Money no dey, in for itself no dey. We can't talk a minute, still we no get to know. But we country this survive for us, we say we no get harder. This system don't pass max alone, who say we go wiser? Covering all the day, nyam self no dey. We get all kinds of mandate, but we think like a condo. But we country depend on us, but we say we no get harder. Make we put politics one side, politics go where we country, gata gata.
Yes, nothing no day, money don't done, you know. But when I beer, things are going to get better. Of course, I want to say plenty thank you to Mr. Patrick Carter. Of course, Patrick Carter, now one of the brains from Sierra Leone. Of course, I know say they're live now. They see what you did the broadcast, He say go on for be a technical support to we. I appreciate that. Of course, Mr. Carter, now one of the producers and actors of Sierra Leonean movies. Of course, one movie they will get for feature now so in our next broadcast. With now My American Spouse. We get for feature and I also half and if possible go talk to him later with small button. But a movie that one day way when I want for watch. If you know it's Sierra Leonean, you want for look for that movie, Mr. Patrick Carter. Go on Facebook, you go see Patrick Carter there. You contact him, you know, either through in inbox, it go make him possible for let you watch that movie. The movie now My American Spouse. You want for definitely try for see that movie there. A very, very good movie. And I don't watch it over and over and over. You know, even FIBA like say na Salomon put on together. But Mr. Carter na that he can do. Now my way very careful about the production, the way they do. Even when we begin as Sherix Broadcast Network, you know, one of the critics, the way they call me, they say me, man, that you audio, that you video, the way you put on this, that. So I give you ideas a lot and we appreciate them. Thank you very much, Mr. Carter, wherever you are. You know, we pray for let God go make you succeed in what you do. And so Sierra Leoneans, My American Spouse by Mr. Patrick Carter. You want for you go find for you watch him. Very good movie, very nice. Oh my God! Now I make a tell when I say salon people there, anything will put your attention to, they do unto perfection. This man now the medical field today, but if they produce movie like saying a technocrat in that area, you need to watch that movie. Contact Mr. Patrick Carter, Katta. Now last name that. Contact her on Facebook. You ain't to go move on from there. All right. And so next we'll get for move on to agriculture. You see, plenty time the way people that don't talk say a country we're not able to feed itself a doom for fail. You know, a country like Sierra Leone, we're not able to feed itself, we are doomed to fail. Because people go to bed hungry. Now this argument where some of our brothers in the APC where they talk say the power do this, the power do that, but the people continue to go to bed hungry. You know, we're not able to feed with people there. We be say we get arable land in the country. And so let us listen to the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, when Mr. Sam King, Primer, where they talk about waiting at some of the plans that we governments get for agriculture in Sierra Leone. Stick around with us.
The status is within a very bad shape. Yeah, within a situation in the country wherein the country will spend over $350 million to $400 million for import various foods, and out of that we'll spend close to $200 million annually for import rice alone. We can't continue to do that. As a nation, we know we'll survive. We know we'll get prestige in amongst peers, and with the staple food we people going to eat, we get for in brand come in and every year in year out. So now this make the ministry, through the leadership of the minister himself, Joseph Danema, we say let we come together and find a solution to this.
All right. Now we talk about this project where they try for mobilize private investor them for begin invest on rice production. Of course, when they launch this project, Samiasa Conference Hall this morning. Somebody go and know how the Ministry of Agriculture plan for work with the private sector for invest in rice production.
Okay, the very essence of this conference now for drive the private sector and redirect their attention to rice production. I know we see this as a project. This is not a project. This is now a deliberate attempt by the ministry for gather all we private sector players for let we change we view about rice in this country once and for all. So with the attempt for bring together bankers, all financial houses, insurance companies, various business communities, including with Lebanese communities, the Fula communities, be just progressive business leaders in the country, the Indians, be Mandingo, whoever, people that will get money, where they get extra money, where they keep, they don't know which are for spend them. They don't get, they don't know productive, profitable business enterprise out there for pursue. Would offer them a chance for say rice production, processing, and marketing, not to charity. Now, actual profitable business enterprise.
Although you say they give them chance for invest on the rice production, but when you look at Sierra Leone and them, not to all man believe in the idea of farming. Say farming now one area where you go make profit if you invest your money on. The Ministry of Agriculture need for sit down with them private sector investor there for encourage them for begin pour their money into farming. How na plan for do that?
Well, that's the reason. This is the very first step we don't take for bring the message out to them and let them know today, as we do today. For let tell them say, and investing in rice not a charity. Now, actual profitable enterprise. We as a government and as a ministry, we get what we do what we call enablers. What we will do for let the private sector be a short say, we don't put the money inside agriculture and especially rice production, they will make profit. And the message here, where they say, what they said from the onset, now, rice importers currently in the country, please, we need to try to displace you from your current trade for import rice. We just want to let you rethink your business model, for let you move some of your funds from importation to production, processing, and marketing. From there, you can eventually become an exporter.
Okay, one will listen go one for no. Why rice production and why not the private sector on the target?
Simple reason. Of all the forex, the demand on forex for foreign exchange for buy all food, rice take more than half of that. So as a country, if we're not able to reduce that, we'll continue for ask and demand more foreign exchange for buy rice. And besides, rice now a profitable venture. As a government, we feel so we will partner with foreign players. I mean, we private players then go able to produce effectively and efficiently, and that will reduce the cost of production, and by extension, it will reduce the price of rice.
Mr. Abraham, I know today we don't hear different program them from the Ministry of Agriculture where they don't come up with even before on our own administration they come. We don't hear the Ministry of Agriculture they talk say Sierra Leonean and for begin eat waiting and they grow. So many idea they don't come up for encourage Sierra Leonean them for invest or for go into farming, but yet still challenge day, especially with the staple food for Sierra Leone and when arise, would they read the kind of money where governments they invest for import rice come na this country. This conference one and the all talk to investor them for invest in rice. You think say it will really solve the problem where Salone governments don't they go through for spend plenty copper for import rice come na the country?
Well, this is not the beginning of solving the problem. This is not the very first step. In fact, this is not the first of 3 conferences we're going to hold. This is not a talk shop. Yeah. The reason why this attempt is different from all previous attempts, now we will get a disciplined leader. We get a leader who don't set the tone from the top. You say, it don't set we out there. It don't send we for let we go walk. If you don't walk, trust me, somebody will go replace you. Will do the job. But we don't give you a mandate for let we walk and make the lives of the people of Sierra Leone better. And part of waiting the new direction set out for it will provide discipline. Discipline as the first tenet. Followed by accountability and transparency. And the fourth way, what I like most, is service delivery. That's why we are here. So this is really different. No business as usual. This is different from all previous attempts where they don't ever make for change rights. This is not the first time in the country. We would actually ask. We get an opportunity for talk to international partners. But now we say no. What can we take to them? What do you want to take to them? People and say, we want to start internally. So locally, we'll bring all players. You'll be very surprised at the goodwill where they're out there. People don't get money. They don't know how to spend up. They don't even know, for say, rice now, a profitable venture, a profitable commercial enterprise.
Let we look at the area of the farmland. Where you talk to plenty people, like if you get a conversation about farming, then go begin they say the land not they again na Salone, will not get better land again for do agricultural work them. Wanna take all them things and they into consideration.
Me they actually say the opposite of that. We get abundant land. Abundant land for grow more than what you will ever require in this country.
But people already own their land in there.
But then they are underused. Nobody they use them. So apart from the space where people where they own, where they use, then place them where they put it to productive service. If you get a land where lay fallow, or you need to use them at all, and you get profitable venture, I mean, commercial enterprise one can put you land to use, where your community go benefit, and the nation as a whole benefit. I think that win-win situation for everybody in the nation as a whole.
Because for Toxi, we encourage, we want the private people them come into agriculture now one, the enabling environment now other one. When I don't meet the private people them or like when I don't put the measures them in place to make sure say this thing starts for work, not to just talk na radio or
well,
outside them.
Thank you very much. And this is not the first of 3 conferences we'll get for hold. And we'll begin with talking to we young people know where they in country. What can you do? What you go contribute to the process? Then I will say what in government get for do? What do we want to do as a government? We get for make sure as we talk to international and we look at partners there, we private sector investment. We don't tell them say number one, the areas that we don't identify, we get the ecology for produce rice in this country. For example, na Tomambo and the Bonapui region, where they get over 110,000 hectares ready for production. Well, not quite ready. As part of the process, we did go ahead, we'll start with the land development. Then, as a government, we'll talk with other partners. We will bring in the thing we will help with for get multiple production in a year, multiple production cycle in a year. We're not irrigation.
Yes, of course, family. Of course, what you will see under the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, of course, Mr. Samkin Brima, they talk on, how the government is working behind the scenes assiduously for unravel, the plans that we didn't get for agriculture in the country, especially with a focus on rice production. Now, they don't talk, say, before then they even go abroad, for me then go ask international partners there or in the international community for me then go help Sierra Leone. They want for begin with the national, within the country first, because people then they inside the country where they get money, but they don't even know for say if the investor money they in rice production at the country, it go able for yield a lot of profit, a lot of dividend for them. They don't know that. So then they put a whole series of conferences in that regard for let them make sure say they don't convince people that for me they're able for do something like that. So I feel say that one they very, very important. I feel say very, very important, at least for let we go able for do something like that in our country, right? For Sierra Leone able for produce rice again. That is the staple food of the country, and we're not for the import rice in that country anymore. The journalists in the 98.1 they get these crazy questions whatever they ask the man as to whether people then they're not used for eats country rice anymore, past the eat rice where they come. Well, not because then people then they get other alternatives. If now you country rice they because the time we will be they eat that rice from Tomabom. If I for even chime the raw one now good thing, I'm gonna let alone you talk about where they cook them. The rest is so good. Now that brown rice is so good for your body, So I think say we get for left all the TSO they talk about, with regards to waiting with country, people they not like this, they not like that. Any country we're not able feeding self it don't for fail. And definitely Sierra Leone we don't want to fail. So that's why it is good for us to start feeding ourselves. So that is where the government is focusing now. The Ministry of Agriculture, of course, they have just gotten $44 million from the United States government for them to invest in agriculture. So the Tomabone and the other places then they get for begin for work they just now. And so by bringing those things in the country, they are at the same time creating jobs for the youths in the country, in the agricultural sector. Just like how we don't talk, agriculture alone go able for create jobs for the youths. We then go able for they make money from there. They not go idle anymore. They not go to begin to think about all this bad stuff then we then you think about all the time, right? So I think saying a very good thing that one day way the Ministry of Agriculture is embarking on. So before the next, we want to go to the Anti-Corruption Commission. Of course, the man you see right here on the board now, this is Ben Kafala. This is the new Anti-Corruption Commissioner in the country. He is talking about some of the latest developments, some of the latest updates then with regards to corruption in Sierra Leone, waiting at some of the things that way it don't unravel, waiting at some of the things that way they don't find out from the time way they don't get in the position, right? So that is what is going on right about this time, and so we get for listening to him for making Gogiwi an idea about what is going on. Stick around with us.
And today we get the Anti-Corruption Commissioner, where we can tell we, but the plan them we get for fight corruption na salon. Well, we Anti-Corruption Commissioner Francis Ben Kaifala go from a college. He gets master's degree in law from the University of London. He also gets master's degree in international financial law and economics, master's degree in comparative constitutional law, administrative law, international human rights law, all the way, and a master's degree them, and now be former managing partner na Kaifala Kane and Co. when a private law firm. Well, inside the studios this morning, we get the privilege for get Francis Ben Kaifala. Good morning and welcome again, and thank you for the opportunity for Radio Democracy be the first media we officially come.
Thank you very much, Asma. I always like for there.
All right. Well, the new, I don't know if I call you new Anti-Corruption Commissioner, but yes, you know the Anti-Corruption Commissioner. Now, na the Anti-Corruption Commission, and we see from where you take up office, you know, for more they make for Kana Studio, they tell me say they don't work, they work, and finally agree for CAM. So give me updates on the commission.
Yes, thank you very much, listeners. Thank you, Sierra Leone, for this opportunity for serve in the capacity of Anti-Corruption Commissioner. I particularly thank the President for the opportunity for appoint me, for place this confidence in me. Indeed, since I take over just under 2 weeks ago, decide not for engage the media, but for first of all able for understand what they happen at the Commission in terms of the human resources, the problems, the things they were able to do for start work. And then I also try for examine the environment for the fight against corruption, the resources, the materials, the people, waiting at the likely challenges and all them things and they. But above all, I'll be one first of all for actually start the fight before I engage the media. And as you can hear, we don't start in earnest, and we depend so far. Oh. If you want an update on the commission, I can start with it.
Go ahead.
Yes. When I take over the commission, the first thing I do now for try for engage with the people that were meeting, because this fight against corruption, not only one get for feta. Behind me, I get about 200 staff in the commission. We hold various roles from directors, deputy directors, managers, deputy managers, and other people, the investigators, people who work in systems and processes, finance people, and all these things. They are all members of the commission where they support me. So the first 3 days who I did at the commission, I make sure say I engage with various departments in the commission. I don't already meet and discuss with the key ones. They identify within their strengths, within their challenges. We get discussions around them, and we try to take them forward. I particularly be careful get update from the investigations department. We don't give me a clear picture of the cases that we did investigate as at now, outside and day, and we don't take certain decisions on various one them. I also don't talk with the prosecutors them. The chief prosecutor and me, they engage almost every morning, and Mr. Seven are part of the prosecution, and I'd also get an idea of whose side the cases then they, whose cases they were supposed to take forward, waiting for do in respect of them. We also discuss issues surrounding the establishment of the Special Anti-Corruption Court, where the President promised the people of Sierra Leone, and where I get mandate for work on. I'd already get meeting with the Chief Justice on that, and we got another meeting tomorrow for see how we can speed up the setting up of that court, because a lot of issues are coming up, and we want we get specialized court to deal with them. As it stands, then get cases, then the way they with the investigations, they were don't reopen. In fact, I don't tell them for review every file where they under investigation. They don't give me updates on various ones. They myself don't review some of them, and the ones that we supposed to be sent to prosecution for prosecution, we already take decision on them. Some of them we don't expand the investigations into them. I'd also refer certain cases the way they with the prosecution for review them, whether we can continue with them as they file them already, or we need for look whether it's necessary for expand the charges in some of them, or whether in fact the charges were not even necessary in the first place because it was not a case that ought to have gone to court. So their reviews, then they take place. We they continue for engage them today again, and the idea is to make sure we set parameters and framework for a real fight against corruption, because my intention not to for shadow box, my intention of actually fight corruption, and it's going to be an engagement we get for take place within the next 2 weeks. We got other things that we don't come up while we do this. We review all the audit reports from 2015 to now, those issues that were rolled over from 2015 into 2016 and 2017. The one day with the parliamentary committee, the parliament be done instruct anti-corruption for stop for review because of XYZ reason. We review all of them, and my intention is to go ahead with areas where they of interest to the commission. And lastly, and most importantly, we all know the government transition report don't come out, and it gets within the refer to as egregious corruption allegations inside, and we mandate under Section 7 of the Anti-Corruption Act now for make sure say we investigate every area or everything concerning corruption or corrupt practices in Sierra Leone, and we already done set up a team of seasoned investigations there. They don't begin forensic review of the report. Myself spent this week, they do a forensic review of the report, and the Anti-Corruption Commission is going to jump to those which are necessary to be looked into, and we see what we can do, because we want to make sure say for once and for good the fight against corruption is serious. We want to make sure say the people of Sierra Leone understand that their need for join the fight against corruption, and for make them join the fight against corruption, and therefore believe say the one way they lead the fight actually serious about them, and that perceptual shift now me want target.
All right. Well, the updates where you don't give. Let me start with the last week Friday where you talk, Thursday where you talk to the press, and you seal one indictment, and also bring in other people where the investigation they investigate winner for the Hajj business. Give me updates on that seal indictment on seal going forward.
Yes, before I take over as Commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission, we all hear the report where the previous Commissioner sealed an indictment and left her with the Chief Justice. So when I take over, in fact, the following day, I go hold meeting with the Chief Justice for able to look into that particular indictment, and I decide say it's fair to the public for make the indictment not be sealed, if open, let we know that and did it, and let we also get an opportunity for review. So me and the Chief Justice get discussion about that, and he supports say yes, indeed, let we try for see how we move on forward. The date for that case is set for the 30th of July 2018. But we unsealed the indictment in the press conference now Anti-Corruption Commission last week Thursday, and the names them will be the inside the indictment, not to me put a new the one that we been did it before me come in. Of course, one of them, now the former Vice President of Sierra Leone, Victor Bokari Fo. The other person as well, we did it, na Sheikh Atrawali, and another person will be involved, Nuruddin, who all know, would already a lot about the Hajj gate. But what me do now that I think say even from just a preliminary review of that file, I take and say the investigations were not done in a way that ought to have been done. They get various leads, various aspects, various things then about the file where nothing say then thoroughly comb before they bring the charges then they. So I don't instruct a review of the file, and also we don't invite additional people them we likely would consider whether they get case for add them to the file before charging to court. I don't open various leads with ONS and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for look into the scholarship that we come inside Salone, because that is an aspect of the Hajj investigations where nothing say they don't look into. The Hajj was funded almost 100% or more, but fully funded by the friends of Sierra Leone in the Arab world. We investigation done preliminarily established say the funding will come from the Arab world, capable for send everybody to Mecca and back based on just those monies. Now, loan was taken at commercial bank. That loan was used to fund the money they sent them wholly, about $2 million to Saudi Arabia. Now, what happened to the scholarship money that came in? The whole still in a commercial bank, not fully funded. There is a huge deficit. There is a huge loan available still at the commercial bank. Why did the funds will come out from the friends of Sierra Leone in the Arab world not first of all take care of that all? Then secondly, the tickets for the Arab were sold. I think it was $5,000 per head. Now, what happened to that money? If they sell them, why not also cover the whole at commercial bank? If it was sold to about 800 people, those are areas where I think say will not really come through. We think happened to the scholarship money we come in wholesale. We think happened to the ticket sales we come in, and we will also understand say the plane we can go people in Saudi Arabia last year was a donation from Turkey. If it was a donation from Turkey, then at least $1,500 supposed to be subtracted from whatsoever sale that was done, because it was a scholarship, it was free. So what has happened to the money that went to Saudi Arabia? Those lists are still open. The answers we have not gotten the answers to them, but we rush to charge to court. So I don't open investigations into all that, and we'll try to see how we will bring on board. So that file was not investigated completely. It is not that we are adding new people, we are merely continuing the investigation that was started. Indeed, since I take over just 1 or 2 weeks.
All right, of course, that's not been the Anti-Corruption Commission, boss. Now the ACC, of course, we talk about everything where actually everything where don't happen as far as corruption is concerned in the country from the time where they don't take over, where they don't take over, where the president will appoint onto this day waiting if we don't they do now the Anti-Corruption Commission. And of course, so this government very keen about wiping out corruption from Sierra Leone, and so this body is one of the bodies that is going to be responsible for helping the government to achieve that policy goal. Right, but anyway, before I go further, I want to acknowledge the presence of no other person but Mr. Kaba Kamara. Of course, Kaba Kamara is an APC strong man, ever since in a man where they support APC big time. They don't do plenty things for APC, but again at this forum today, so at the CM and say it fit with other people that were sympathetic to the SLPP. So I just pity him a little bit because I don't know what he's going to achieve from there. At the PTM a little bit, Mr. Kamara, wherever you are, if you say you need for, know what they do at this point, right? You need for know what they do at this point because it not look like say things in the favor you at this point. But anyway, Kamara and I'm a man, so I did tell Mr. Patrick Kada for make it go blow small pa me man, because the man get for camp pa me business now so next year. So I don't want to let the man continue for when I not pound on him so much, The only thing Kaba, the one way me get for you is that we get for bring commission of inquiry on all the one that we don't eat too money in that country day. So if you been benefits for that money day as an SLPP member, then you better know that your day is coming. Okay, so we just want for acknowledging. But anyway, next we are moving on to the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education in Sierra Leone. We're not to any other person, but now Honorable Alpha Usman Timbo. Of course, this Maya Sunadisiana, he was one of the leading flag bearer aspirants in the SLPP at the time that they were vying for the leadership of the ruling political party right now. Of course, later on, it began for yield down, of course, and fully supported Julius Madabio for the position. And of course, this Maya, so a name always associated with progress in the country. He is a man who is well known for solving the country's problem. He was the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union for 10 years, and we all know what he did for the Teachers Union. He negotiated the condition of service for the teachers in Sierra Leone, and that the success that he made in that area up to today is benefiting teachers in the country. He was also a leader in the Labour Congress. Of course, he was able to negotiate terms of employment and benefits for employees and retirement plans and all of that. Then he was the man that the government of Sierra Leone under the late President Ahmad Yankaba, appointed to head the Ministry of Labour and Industrial Relations. And under that ministry, he was able to create a social security system for the country for the very first time. Very unprecedented. That was the very first time we had a social security system. And so up to today, that system is in the country. We don't know if they are bankrupt now, but is in the country. So this man did that. So now the flagship campaign project or program for the SLPP government, headed by retired Brigadier General Julius Madabio, was free education, especially to primary and secondary school students. So in order for the president to achieve that goal, that flagship goal where it's set up, it depends on no other person but Mr. Alpha Usman Timbo. Now in the man where it depend on for we go able for handle that side. So I feel say a very important for let we know say Alpha Timbo is a problem solver in the SLPP. And whosoever they don't put them in governance, it don't let positive mark there. Not to just talk. Now things then where you see, where you feel, where you touch by yourself, say it really happened. Just the card don't name some of them, right? So we also they look at them and one for no waiting at your own plans then where it don't set in motion for able to achieve the flagship program of the SLPP government with a free education. So let's check on Alpha Timbo on that.
Questions and many other things. I have with me the country's Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Alpha Usman Timbo. Good afternoon and welcome to this day, sir.
Good afternoon, Wilson. Good afternoon, viewers and listeners.
All right, like I heard from the intro, how prepared is the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, being you had head of that particular ministry, head of the new academic year, and also the kickstart of the free education?
Well, thank you very much. I think I should first of all commend you because the intro in itself is very accurate and it saves me time from repeating what His Excellency the President Julius Madabio promised the people of this country.
Thank you very much.
So I'll just take it from there because, as I said, the intro itself is very well. Well, when we were appointed as minister, I was not the only person appointed in the ministry. I have a deputy, the person of Mrs. Gogra. Mrs. Gogra happens to be a proprietor of a private school in Port Loco. He happens to be the person who we filled as a candidate for the mayoral position in Puloko City Council. She did not succeed in that venture, but His Excellency the President deemed it fit to give me a woman, and I'm very proud of her contribution to the ministry. So the two of us took the challenge because we believe this is the flagship program of His Excellencies as well as the SLPP government. So what we have done so far as a ministry is to help translate His Excellency's vision to reality. As you rightly said, In a state opening of Parliament, he addressed members of Parliament and the general public, and he made some significant statements in that address. Apart from the fact that he re-echoed his determination to introduce the free quality pre-primary, primary, and secondary, he also stipulated some of the measures he intends to take to actualize that. And in that statement, he promised that he was going to ensure the establishment of an interministerial committee that will be placed in a strategic position to advise him finally on the options that needs to be pursued and the implementation strategy. And that is headed by the Chief Minister. Also, the Minister of Finance is a member, and the Minister of Information also is a member, the Minister of Health and Sanitation, Minister of Agriculture. All of these ministries are strategic, and I am very pleased to say that we have enjoyed the leadership of the Chief Minister and also the Minister of Finance in this direction. We have held the first interministerial committee meeting with the development partners, which has proved very successful. From there, we've also established the technical committee. The technical committee constitutes our development partners together with some of the professionals within our ministries, like in the Ministry of Finance, the financial sector, budget officers, and the professional division in my ministry, the Chief Education Officer, the consultants in education, among others. They have held the first meeting, and the second meeting was held last Thursday. And they are responsible for looking into the details of the implementation plus the costing elements, the financial implications that are going to be involved in the process of implementation. So we are providing the strategic leadership to ensure that we meet those particular targets. In the next meeting that we will be having prior to the scheduled meeting for the Interministerial Committee, which will take place on the 10th of this July, we are expected to have come out with a kind of definition for the free quality education and some of the scenarios that we want government to consider, the Interministerial Committee to consider prior to giving a report to His Excellency the President. His Excellency the President would have the responsibility to make the official pronouncement with respect to the package that the people will be expecting for the 2018 academic year. But for now, as a ministry, we have been able to get both the professional and the administrative wing to buy the vision and lend their commitment towards it. So as I speak, Chief Education Officer and the Permanent Secretary, both the outgone, Mr. Conte, and the current one, Mrs. Tengbe, all of them have shown commitment that they are ready to ensure that we succeed in this venture. So we are proud of that, all of them. We moved from that stage. Education, the business of education is the business of everybody. Unlike other sectors, we have to consult a wide range of institutions and individuals for us to be able to get it right. As I speak, we have concluded consultations with the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. We've concluded the consultations with the Conference of Principals of Secondary Schools. We have met with the civil society organizations. We've met with representatives of private schools in the provinces. We are yet to meet the representative of private schools in the western area. And people might want to say, you say free education for public. Why meet private schools? The reason is simple.
That's key.
The reason is simple. The Minister of Education is responsible for the approval of all private schools. But that besides, we are expecting that the vast majority of people that are sending their children now to private institutions, they have done so because they believe the public image as well as the results expected of public institutions do not meet their standards. So therefore they send their children. But when once maybe we are able to bring the education system, the public sector aspect of it goes with quality, maybe some of the parents will want to see the need of sending their children to public school, especially so if the costs of payment of fees continue to skyrocket in the private institution. So we have a responsibility to cater for them if they decide to come back. So that's why we also consult with them. We are currently meeting with the traditional leaders, that is the paramount chief, their section chiefs in their various localities to bring to them the attention for government, the intention. We've also met with the local councils. Yesterday I was to meet with the Freetown City Council and all the councillors like I have done in the provinces, but unfortunately The mayor traveled, and a host of other significant personalities in the city council were not here, so we defer that one. So that is still pending. We have started consultation with the children themselves. They have to give their own inputs into this whole program itself. And thanks to Hill Sierra Leone, that spearheaded that particular program, and we need to complement that aspect, so we get it also from the children. So essentially, I'm saying we have to talk to a whole lot of people. I have just concluded a meeting with the proprietors of schools, right? The Catholic Mission, the Baptist, this Ahmadiyya Mission, Kankili. I've just concluded a meeting whilst I'm coming here. So the consultation continues, and the objective is for us to be able to have their own views, their suggestions as to how they think this particular flagship program can be implemented. Of course, it is going to be phased out like any other country that have successfully implemented this program. Not everything that is going to start in September 2018. I'll come to that at a later point.
Yeah, definitely.
But we are in the consultative process so that we determine the number of students that we are going to cater, the number of schools, how they are, and the rest of these things. So that is why, as a ministry, while these consultations are going on, we have taken as a first fundamental step to ensure we conduct an annual survey, a comprehensive survey of all the schools in this country.
Because that would have taken, me to the question about the survey, because I think earlier before we kickstart the show, I asked, mentioned about the survey, the 10-day survey, which the ministry, started, I think it's another wide range consultative engagement as well.
Yes, we took the decision to start our activity from organizing this particular survey. Not that surveys have not been done in the past, I must, when I assumed office in the ministry, I made surveys conducted for 2015, 2016, and 2017. So we have relatively a fair idea as to what constitutes the number of teachers in both pre-primary, primary, GSS, and SS. We have an idea. And in fact, it is based on those statistics that we have that we are able to project that in 2018, whether we are able to conduct a survey like this or not, we will have the following figures. Like, for instance, at the pre-primary level, that is from 3 to 5 years, we'll be having about 673,410 students at pre-primary level.
Across the country.
Across the country. So if we take the teacher-pupil ratio as it is as of now, where 45:1 at primary and 20:1 at pre-primary, we'll be having 33,671 teachers. That is for pre-primary education. When you come to primary, which constitute the 6 to 11 years, we'll be having about 1,265,703 students that will be enrolled in the 2018 academic year. And taking into consideration the teacher-pupil ratio at the primary level, which is 45:1, we'll be having about 28,127 teachers for the primary. When you come to the JSS level, that is the 12 to 14 years, we'll be having about 573,691 students.
Right, and so Mifamude, that's now the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education in Sierra Leone, Honorable Alpha Osman Timbo. They talk about some of the preparations where they do for work for the people of Sierra Leone or for the children of Sierra Leone. So you see, this is what we are talking about. That is why we are taking our time to bring each one of these people for me and tell we waiting they do so far from the time where they don't appoint them onto this day. What have they been doing, with regards to their respective jobs? But before we go further, I just want to acknowledge again, I have for say Mr. Kaba Kamara don't flatly deny for say it not benefit from penny from where the APC, then all the money where they eat, they not get a penny. So the Commission of Inquiry will get forgets an office get for affect them. So Mr. Kaba Kamara, thank you very much for letting us know. But anyway, so that's the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education of course, Sierra Leone, Mr. Alpha Osman Timbo, just like I would don't tell una, now man way in name always associated with progress in Sierra Leone. He has done quite a lot of things where you turn around and see and touch and feel tangibles, things that way you go able for actually see tangibly, you know, for no say this man I do this work. So for lady president, the number one message where he run on where the campaign for become president of Sierra Leone now be free education. So the possible way Habopa for able for successfully run that program the forum. Now this man again, the man we bring na sitcom, the man we negotiate terms of service for teachers in another country, the man we negotiate terms of service for employees in another country. That's the man who is going to also solve the problem of free education in Sierra Leone. And with everything where he don't talk about systematically, all the plans that they don't set, I think say this is going to be a big deal, right? So Alpha Timbo is working. We want to say a lot of thanks to you for everything that you are doing, sir, wherever you are. We are always thinking about you. Of course, personally, na me mentor that one day, na me brother one day, na the man that one day, me and we don't stick together for over 12-15 years now. So Alpha Timbo, that's the man. And so me from the next we get for go to the Ministry of Mines. That get for be we final business tonight. Of course, we don't find out say some Chinese people that be done the try for do illicit mining in the country without authorization from the government for men to do this type of mining. And this is what they used to do under the APC. So they thought they can still continue to do the same thing. I mean, I don't know why we have so many Chinese people in our country right now. If people that we not even like Chinese people, they not like black people then at all not. Now quite now when the political system don't begin to change small, when they don't begin to look at black people then small, but they're not too like we. But then in our country, then they exploit we natural resources. So they were found somewhere in the diamondiferous zones in Connaught, involved or engaged in illicit mining of diamonds in that area. So let's see how that one day itself happen right here. Stick around.
Intelligence from Professor Bakima, the Minister of Higher Education, say some illicit mining they go on Nimiyama Chiefdom. So on Sunday we go there. On the way back to Freetown, we go there. We meet Professor Bakima. Then we go visit some 3 different sites there. We definitely in illicit mining they go on, and not so artisanal, small scale mining, because we get a lot. We see machines, we see an extensive area where they don't dig.
Of the 3 mining sites where we visit, we meet up some motorcar with foreigners where we suspects in a Chinese. So we begin question them, ask for residence permit if they get, ask for work permit if they get. Well, they make like say they know they understand English.
Years of experience, I think.
What artisanal mining in the market?
Yeah, but you can't
What do you
We meet excavator all day at the sites there. In one case, the excavator will meet then a brand new one. Fortunately, that side will first meet the first lot of Chinese, one police been there. So now from that point, then I join we. Now we all been able now.
What you don't find out is that most of the time the paramount chief themselves involved in this thing. And now they create the biggest challenge for we.
The fact that they're not being any mine license or they're not produce any, we assume say then they mine illegally.
First problem we'll be get, we inherit a crop of mines monitoring officers then where I would say quote unquote not fit for purpose. And we'll be done to try for clean up the slates, so to speak, for pay them off and recruit new mines monitoring officers that will train for effectively carry out the job.
Well, if you mine illegally, mean to say nothing or they can to government. So government they lost. And at this particular point in time, we focus heavily on revenue generation, especially from the mining sector, because with minerals and what would you get from with minerals, they support with foreign exchange base. So yeah, that's a big loss to government.
Yes, and so my family when I see that, so this now illicit mining I be done they go on perpetrated by the Chinese in our country without license, then they destroy the land, you know, the government not they benefit from them, and so the Minister of Mines and the deputy they all two check now the place because of an intelligence that they received, and so they went out there to check, and of course they found out that that activity was actually going on in that area. So my family, we almost come towards the end of the program. We can open the line in case you want for say something. You go to get a chance for say something, okay? So stick around with us.
It's Cammy, baby.
Solo speak. Judicial. Judicial.
No, no.
Hey. Judicial. Titi Judicial.
Mahmoudi. Rose baby.
It's Cammy, baby.
Shout out to the girls when they enter the club with jumbo to water. Yeah. Shout out to the girls when they say no they eat cooking a fried rice. Yeah. Push that, oh oh. Yeah 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 yeah. Push it, oh.
One time for the man we been saying go buy me baby range. Two time for the girl we been keep me man. You feel say we don't part, baby Judicial. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say Judicial. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say Judicial.
Shout out to the girls who the label forget fine revenge. Yeah. One love to my slay queens. Sexy girls with great heels. Yeah. When it come, then hold it down at the bala. Get iPhone 8, no money for recharger. We come now the corner, make we come rough skin. Skin at the day, we go jam body. I go kill any, I be like na pam body. Baby, come closer, come dance for me. Me killing me, yeah, 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 yeah. Judicial. Shout out to the girls when they enter the club with jumbo to water. Yeah. Shout out to the girls when they say no they eat cooking a fried rice. Yeah. Judicial, oh oh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Judicial.
One time for the man we been saying go buy me baby range. Two time for the girl we been keep me man. You feel say we don't part, baby Judicial. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say Judicial. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say Judicial. You they caution me, you they afraid for tell me to my face. You say you don't like me, you still they follow me. All your life you they try for be me. So big up to the badass where they peep me status. Big up to the haters where they follow me. I rap KME, you can copy me. Just ask around and sabi me. You where they date past 10 girls. You where you get salary now for fingers. You where it at cause I talk the truth. Una Judicial.
Shout out to the girls when they enter the club with jumbo to water. Yeah. Shout out to the girls when they say no they eat cooking a fried rice. Yeah. Judicial, oh oh. Yeah 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 yeah. Judicial.
One time for the man we been saying go buy me baby range. Two time for the girl we been keep me man. You feel say we don't part, baby Judicial. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say Judicial. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say Judicial. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say Judicial. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say Judicial. Alman on the mix.
Yes, you way they lie, crucial. You way eat with salo money, crucial. You way na corrupt person, crucial. You way can I so for eat with money for talk bad talk, crucial. You way get for stand commission of inquiry, crucial. That na Rosie and Mahmoud, of course, two strong, young Sierra Leonean musical artists coming up. That now one of the latest, of course, me found them. So we don't open the line in case you want for say something now. Of course, you can come up and say something. And so we just get for continue for play songs until we actually hold on. Yeah, until we hear from somebody coming up. But that now Rosie and Mahmoud, of course. Two young, talented Sierra Leonean musical artists doing the things for us out there. So once more, stick around with us.
Scare me, baby. Solo speak. Kushel. Kushel.
No, no.
Hey. Kushel.
Mahmoud, Rose baby,
it's Candy, baby.
Shout out to the girls who they enter the club with some bottle water. Yeah. Shout out to the girls who they say no they eat cooking a fried rice. Yeah, push it, oh oh. Yeah 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 yeah. Push it, oh.
One time for the man we been saying go buy me baby range. Two time for the girl we been keep me man. You feel say we don't part, baby kushel. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say kushel. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say kushel.
Shout out to the girls who the label forget fine revon. Yeah. One love to my slay queens. Sexy girls with great heels. Yeah. When it come, then hold it down at the pala. Get iPhone 8, no money for recharger. We come now the corner, make we come rough skin. In the day we go jam body. I go kill any we like na pam body. Baby come closer, come dance for me. Me killing me, yeah 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 yeah. Push it. Shout out to the girls who they enter the club with some bottle water. Yeah. Shout out to the girls who they say no they eat cooking a fried rice. Yeah, push it, oh oh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Push it,
One time for the man we been saying go buy me baby range. Two time for the girl we been keep me man. You feel say we don't part, baby kushel. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say kushel. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say kushel. You they caution me, you they afraid for tell me to my face. You say you don't like me, you still they follow me. All your life you they try for be me. So big up to the badass where they peep me status. Big up to the haters where they follow me. I rap KME, you can copy me. Just ask around and sabi me. You where they date past 10 girls. You where you get salary enough for fingers. You where he act cause I talk the truth. Una kushel.
Shout out to the girls where they enter the club with some bottle water. Yeah. Shout out to the girls who they say no they eat cooking a fried rice. Yeah, push it, oh oh. Yeah 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 yeah. Push it,
One time for the man we been saying go buy me baby range. Two time for the girl we been keep me man. You feel say we don't part, baby kushel. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say kushel. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say kushel. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say kushel. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say kushel. Alman on the mix. Scare me, baby. Solo speak. Kushel. Kushel.
No, no.
Hey. Kushel. kusheo.
Mahmoud, Rose baby,
it's Candy.
Shout out to the girls when they enter the club with a bottle water. Yeah. Shout out to the girls when they say all they eat cooking a fried rice. Yeah. Push it, oh oh. Yeah 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 yeah. Push it, oh.
One time for the man we been saying go buy me baby range. Two time for the girl we been keep me man. You feel say we don't part, baby kusheo. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say kusheo. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say kusheo.
Shout out to the girls who the label and forget fine weavon. Yeah. One love to my slay queens. Sexy girls with great heels. Yeah. When it come, then hold it down at the bala. Get iPhone 8, no money for recharger. We come na the corner, make we come rough skin. In the day, we go jam body. I go kill any, I will like na pam body. Baby, come closer, come dance for me. Me killing me, yeah, 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 yeah. Push out. Shout out to the girls when they enter the club with a bottle water. Yeah. Shout out to the girls when they say all they eat cooking a fried rice. Yeah. Push it, oh oh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Push it, oh.
One time for the man we been saying go buy me baby range. Two time for the girl we been keep me man. You feel say we don't part, baby kusheo. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say kusheo. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say kusheo. You they caution me, you they afraid for tell me to my face. You say you don't like me, you still they follow me. All your life you they try for be me. So big up to the badass where they peep me status. Big up to the haters where they follow me. I rap KME, you can copy me. Just ask around and sabi me. You where they did past 10 girls. You where you get salary now for fingers. You where he act cause I talk the truth. Una kusheo.
Shout out to the girls where they enter the club with a bottle water. Yeah. Shout out to the girls when they say all they eat cooking a fried rice. Yeah. Push it, oh oh. Yeah 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 yeah. Push it, oh.
One time for the man we been saying go buy me baby range. Two time for the girl we been keep me man. You feel say we don't part, baby kusheo. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say kusheo. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say kusheo. This thing they sweet me if it at you. I say kusheo. You wait tot lie and Congo sa as you walk. I say kusheo. Alman on the mix.
Famous to all the baby where they woke me at, where don't make me feel like say I'm not man enough. I no get nothing for offer. To all me party when look down on me, where don't make me feel like say my life no go become something. And they walked away. All the people who promise for help me, they say come office today, tomorrow, next tomorrow. The story not just the same, but I refuse to give up. I kept on hoping, I kept believing. Now everything don't change. Me brother see me life now, it don't better now. Famous and the name now. You know go fit say, you don't know me now. Anytime I like a flight to Dubai now. Hey, with me baby now. Anything I like I they buy now. Turn up, cause me I let it turn down. I let it run down. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. For this one where we there, people go come inside you life. Some go come for stay, and some go come and go. The reason why some man go stay, now only God know. The reason why some man go. Now God himself know. Me brother, me I don't go regret. If you decide for go, it's happened for a reason. Now only God know. What you get for no say, it's never the end. Cause the downfall of a man no, not to the end of his life. And then they give up, and then they turn down. Every day and they turn up. See me color, it pop up. Famous na the name now. You know go say, you know me now. Now me son is scatter the party now. Even you baby they calling now. Cause now me they make all man they study now. You next on the beats now. The people just they craze, just they dance now. Hey, they just they dance now. They just they gladdy now. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. Famous. All the baby where them woke me at, where don't make me feel like say I'm not man enough. I no get nothing for offer. To all me party when look down on me, where don't make me feel like say my life no go become something. And they walked away. All the people who promise for help me, they say come office today, tomorrow next tomorrow. The story not just the same, but I refuse to give up. I kept on hoping, I kept believing. Now everything don't change. Me brother see me life now, it don't better now. Famous and the name now. You know go fit say, you know me now. Anytime I like a flight to Dubai now. Hey, with me baby now. Anything I like I they buy now. Turn up, cause me I let it turn down. I let it run down. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. For this one where we there, people go come inside you live. Some go come for stay.
We have somebody on the line. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
This is Abbas.
August, from where? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. I'm calling from Sierra Leone.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. This is Sherix Broadcast.
Yes, this is Sherix.
Okay. Well, can I speak in our local dialect?
Yes, Creole, talk Creole. Now for talk Creole, yes, talk Creole.
Okay, no problem. So, before I go start, I will first tell you thank you for the good work they do.
I appreciate
it. For bring the people closer. Understand? For try for unity and preach good things them. You understand?
Right.
And try for drive good things there will be say good for the country. You understand?
Right.
And as I go forward, you know, I will gladly.
All right, I think say the time we even get it done. Of course, where you in a salon where you make a call, you get for talk fast. If Namina be in, I know they go to all them thinking in the force. I for don't just try for talk one time. But anyway, we appreciate him for calling us from Sierra Leone. Hopefully he will call we back, or we don't know. I don't know how we'll get him back. All right, and so me family them we're going for continue for listening to music as we wait for our brother for call.
To all the baby where don't woke me at, where don't make me feel like say I'm not man enough, I no get nothing for offer. To all me party when look down on me, where don't make me feel like say my life no go become something, and they walked away. All the people who promise for help me, they say come office today, tomorrow next tomorrow. The story not just the same, but I refuse to give up. I kept on hoping, I kept believing. Now everything don't change. Me brother see me life now, it don't better now. Famous and the name now. You don't go fit say you don't know me now. Anytime I like a fly to Dubai now, hey, with me baby now. Anything I like that they buy now. Turn up, cause me I let it turn down, I let it run down. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. For this one where we there, people go come inside you life. Some go come for stay, and some go come and go. The reason why some man go stay, now only God know. The reason why some man go. Now God himself know. Me brother, me I no go regret. If you decide for go, it's happen for a reason. Now only God know. What you get for no say, it's never the end. Cause the downfall of a man no, not to the end of in life. And then they give up, and then they turn down. Every day and they turn up. See me color, it pop up. Famous not the name now. You know go say, you don't know me now. Now me son is scatter the party now. Even you baby they calling now. Cause now me they make all man they study now. You next on the beats now. The people just they craze, just they dance now. Hey, they just they dance now. They just they glad now. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. Famous.
Yes, of course, my family that now famous once more. Of course, a good brother of ours. Of course, I like famous in music. They all in songs they already sing. All make sense and get some good messages in them. Where you listen to them, you did learn a lesson from them. So, famous one for say plenty thank you to you for for the kind song where you sing. There is a brighter future lying ahead of you. So don't allow anybody to hold you down. When people step on you, they put you down. The fall of a man is not the end of his or her life. So we want to say plenty thank you to Famous. Of course, that's what the message is in that song. This is how we are going to come to the end of this program. Of course, once more, Mina Ibrahim Sharif. I come to una today from studio number 8, based in Houston, Texas. And of course, our end note is that we can forget hope in the aspirations of our government and our president. Like how we don't see things they go on, we are going to remain optimistic that things are going to get better. Just like the president advised yesterday in the party office, is say, let the people then beer. Before it's sweet, it get for sour first. So that the sourness will be right now, but it get for sweet. According to how we see, then they operate in the country. And so one for tell them plenty thank you for the kind works and what they don't do in the 100 days, 42 different achievements by the government. And of course, the main one, the GTT report. Now, a very good thing what will happen to Sierra Leone. That is the foundation of fighting corruption in the country. We want to tell them all plenty thank you. Of course, next week we'll then again for talk to us exclusively about waiting to go on at the country. And of course, we get for feature with your man, Mr. Patrick Carter, a movie producer for Sierra Leone, based in Houston, Texas. Of course, like I would don't say, when I contact her on Facebook, Carter na Katta. When I contact them for make it go able make when I able for watch the movies then we don't produce. One of the ones where me like bad now My American Spouse. It's so good movie, you know. So just like I would say, Sierra Leoneans, anything we'll put your attention to, we do unto perfection, and that is exactly what Mr. Carter has demonstrated. So you waiting at your own corner, waiting they do na that corner they for brighten that corner. If you're not a doctor, you're not a nurse, you're not a carpenter, you're not a teacher. You know, waiting they do na your own small corner for brighten that corner so that Sierra Leone will go before. Just like we did now, so this now we on corner. Whatever we do na this corner, now we they do for able for brighten this corner so that Sierra Leone will go before. All right. So once more, I also say a lot of thanks to you guys. So this is how we're gonna end it.
To all the baby where them woke me at, where don't make me feel like say I'm not man enough, I no get nothing for offer. To all me party when look down on me, where don't make me feel like say my life no go become something, yeah. And they walked away. All the people who promise for help me, they say come office today, tomorrow next tomorrow. The story not just the same, but I refuse to give up. I kept on hoping, I kept believing. Now everything don't change. Me brother see me life now, it don't better now. Famous and the name now. You know go fit say you don't know me now. Anytime I like a flight to Dubai now. Hey, with me baby now. Anything I like I they buy now. Turn up, cause me I let it turn down, I let it run down. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead, I never stop for nothing. For this one where we there, people go come inside you life. Some go come for stay, and some go come and go. The reason why someone go stay, now only God know. The reason why someone go, now God himself know. Me brother, me I don't go regret. If you decide for go, it's happened for a reason. Now only God know. What do you get for no say? It's never the end, cause the downfall of a man no, not to the end of his life. And then they give up, and then they turn down. Every day and they turn up. See me color, it pop up. Famous na the name now. go say you don't know me now. Now me song is scatter the party now. Even you baby they calling now. Just now me they make all man they daddy now. You next on the beats now. The people just they craze, just they dance now. Hey, they just a dance now, they just a glad now. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm moving ahead. I never stop for nothing.